heart passion. What is heart passion? You can have passion. You can bulldoze it and I have passion. But what if it's heart passion that you settle into your heart? What you need for you, you will know. That is the message. That is the message for Healthopedia. That's the message that we need to hear. Ladies and gentlemen, I know that I know that I know that when I had that heart passion and when I went ahead and went and found, after a 2-week search, and found Hulda Clark, and I knocked on her door, that was heart passion from my son. It was heart passion that he wasn't going to have to live in a box with his diagnosis. As Les Brown says, his diagnosis was not his prognosis. And the rest began with Healthopedia, the gold card, the infamous gold card. You're going to hear from our keynote speaker today, Rex Sikes, about a gold card and what it can and will do. See, that's the activation of gratitude, writing on the tablets of stone, as it says in the good book, writing it on a piece of paper, writing it on your cell phone. It's all the same. It's what is that heart passion inside of you. When I wrote and it said, I will pen the Eastern medical version of the PDR. That was that path to healing and wholeness, which is the message and the title of my chapter in this book. What it meant was that I went for what I knew was my wholeness and wellness, but it starts with gratitude. That is our theme today, because when you have gratitude, you have everything. You have everything in that frequency, as goodness gracious, as just Jason Estes talked about that frequency. And when I say goodness gracious, because of what he went through, multiple situations with disability, and he's gone through it. He calls it the message of translation. That's going through, as Les Brown says, what you're going through, you will get through, and you will come to the next conclusion, as Jamie Kerr said. You will go ahead, and our other people that were here, and our speakers, our author speakers that were just amazing yesterday. Of course, Les Brown with his message on hope. And we wish Les just all the amazingness in the world as they put the final touches on his documentary with Kurt Franklin. But his message of hope that was pre-recorded from another summit is absolutely poignant today as it was in 2020. Serena Brown coming after her dad, talking about peace. Because when you can have peace in your heart passion, everything is possible. Jamie Kerr, when he talked about greatness, I've just got to bring him up again. My bro from Scotland. Oh my goodness. I could listen to that accent forever. And he said, I'm following greatness, but I am beside greatness. That is the greatness that we all have within. Melanie Summers, my BFF, when she talked about paying now or paying later, we're learning through Healthopedia to take these steps. You didn't know what you didn't know until you came and learned that, no, I don't have to do this for my life anymore. I can take no with a next option. And Melanie talked about paying now so she could have abundance. Shannon Roper, physicians, absolutely assistant, because she's a nurse practitioner. She really is her own healing physician. How she has put Bernie Siegel's practice into learning and showing her patients in New Mexico how to live between office visits. And then Karen Rudolph using that butterfly that she made her own translation through her personal life, a not good situation with her husband, became an advocate for her children. And then she turned and translated that to being an advocate for others, as being a power facilitator and coach. Trey Urban, she took, well, your diagnosis is not your prognosis, from the physical pillar, that now she can not only walk, but walk in high heels after being paralyzed. Jerry Tucker saying that he had nothing, but he made it into something. And now he is having everything. You got to buy the book. You can scan the code right here. Scan the code. We're coming out on the 26th of September. Scan the code. You will be the first to get a copy of it when it comes out, free download. But as Martin Pratt from Unidow Media said, get 2 books. Why? One for yourself and one for the person who just borrows books and forgets where they put it. So we know that it's that kind of a book. We know that it's something after you maybe had nothing, Jerry talked about, to having everything. And then our hopeologist, Jamie Matheson, my heart, her hope rocks as I'm reaching over for them, and hope coming in a nice little package. Because when you have hope, that's what you cling on to. When you have hope, you are on course. As I say in the introduction of the book, we all believe collectively, we 40, that we have come together as individuals, that there are miracles every day. My quote in the book is, miracles occur every day. Just beckon them in. Beckon them in. That means call on them. Believe that they're for you. Believe that they're there. You see, those daily miracles can become such a part of you, ladies and gentlemen, that your reaction will just be, of course. Not, oh, I'm excited. Something happened. No, you'll just say, of course. Why? Because you're on course. Because you're on course with your course. The derivation of Pedia, it's a Greek word. It stands for children and childhood, like pediatrics, but it also means a dual meaning, like many Greek words mean, encyclopedia. Wikipedia, like Wi-Fi's encyclopedia. This will be your encyclopedia for health. Just like that PDR that's in every Western medical doctor's and MD's office. It's the red book. This will be your purple book. Purple, as Bernie Siegel says, is your spiritual color for healing. You see, I began with that gold card after I was mentored by Hulda Clark. I didn't take no. That was my next option when I said to her, what if I could take your message, because I'm only 32. What if I could take this message that you have right now and I can take it further? That is my wish right now, thinking about Jason Estes and Jeremy and Jeremy Hoffman and many others, Kimberly Meredith, that are much younger than I am. They will take this message, as my website on drjody.com says, that it is my mission as I became unretired after COVID to take this message to the next generation of healers. That's what we are doing, those of us that have wisdom and knowledge, that we want to impart it so it gets bigger and better and more fluid. See, that became my heart passion when I was a young mother in La Leche League. I was that young mother that said I knew that I wanted something more for my son. I was challenged, and they said to me, well, if you don't like what we're serving, which was, as I said yesterday, additives and preservatives, I went ahead and said, we need something more for these babies. They said, who was more than just the international president, why don't you do something about it? Those of you that know me well, if I'm challenged, I am going to do something about it. And the doing something was exactly this. I went ahead and penned the nutritional formulations for expectant and breastfeeding mothers that are still in their protocols today. That was my heart passion, because of that cord energy that never leaves between a mother and child. That was that cord energy that I still had for my 4-year-old son, standing when I knocked at Hulda Clark's door, and I said, but you will take him on as a patient. And I said, and I knocked on her heart. And of course, you'll take me on as a mentee for the next 2 years, which then made me believe that I could have a cauldron and a burning passion that would change planet Earth. We're going to reach 1 million people this year with Healthopedia through our keynote, through our next guest, without a doubt. He is one of my favorite humans on planet Earth. That's just the truth, because he does things from the heart. He does things from a heart passion, and he's done it for 40 years. As Jay Noland, CEO and publisher of our book, Healthopedia, my goodness, he says, you can't fake real. That is Rex Sikes. I reached down. I'm going to show you this book. I finally found my original version. I bought 4 of these books. This is a book just like Healthopedia that you will go ahead and say, I've got to get one from a friend that's going to borrow. Why do I keep buying this book? Because my friends don't give it back. Why do I have these bookmarked? Because these pages mean something to you. He will mean something to you as well. He just is real. He's an expert at MLP. He is a master trainer at DHE. He is a master of everything he does. He's a transformational, I'm just going to say he's a transformationalist. That's what he's meant to me in my life. His innovations are mind design. He has many, many trademarks, directed questions. The law of attraction and his accelerated learning and his idea seminars are second to none. I know, and I'm going to state it here, his idea seminars, we're going to do a hybrid with what we are doing in Boca Raton with our Healthopedia experiential retreat and summit. We're going to do this together, Rex. I just feel it. But it is with great honor and just humbleness saying, before we start, I just want to give Rex this. This is what a Bernie Bits says to me. This is what, Rex, you have done for me all along. Bernie and his Bernie Bits said, why not just turn every day into a vacation rather than a Monday? That's what you do, Rex. And I am so grateful. Go ahead and take yourself off mute, my friend and my colleague. I'm just going to say we are mindset brother and sister. Please just grace us with your gratitude activator, action motivator. Just make it as marvelous and magnificent. And we're going to leave the rest of the M's for you later. The time is now yours. Thank you, Rex, for being you.
Oh, Dr. Jody, what a marvelous welcome. And I love you. And I thank you so much for that and for showing up today and who you are and for all the kudos and the love that you pour out on everyone, including me. And I certainly feel it. And I certainly am glad to be here and to be able to share with the people who are participating, but also to be among this incredible collection of authors and speakers who have dedicated and made a commitment to their time to provide, each of the viewers, whether you're live or in replay, value so that you can transform your life, whether it's spirit, mind, emotions, body, your words, your actions, or your pocketbook. We are complete creatures, but we as humans categorize ourselves in a different way. We talk about the spirit as if it's somehow different or separate than us. Our mind is something else. We have emotions and, we use words and we take actions, and we possess things, so humans are able to categorize and classify. I mean, if you look at science and you look at, if you take one species of animals, that there's different categories and then there's different sizes and there's different shapes and there's different Latin terms to describe everything. That's something that we as humans can do. We can categorize, we can classify, we can make judgments or label things, and to our detriment and to our benefit, we are able to do both of those. But that's part of consciousness. That's part of being aware. That's part of being alive. We have an intelligence and a rational mind, and then we have a creative and another intuitive mind. But we're just one thing, and we're not even one thing. Science will tell us that energy cannot be created, nor can it be destroyed. It can only be transformed, and that it is eternally present and equally distributed everywhere, here, there, near, far, now, the past, the present. It's all the same. We have the same amount of energy in the universe as we've always had, and we will always have. It's not going away, and frankly, neither you or I, but we will be transformed. And the process of transformation is one that we're born into this world, and we come in with skin and bones, with a brain and a heart and a stomach, and everything. And what a lot of people miss and what they forget, this is what I mean, they talk about body and mind. Well, if you don't have a brain, your heart doesn't do a whole lot of good for you. And if you don't have a heart, your brain doesn't do much good. It's part of a system, and they support each other. The heart beats so that the brain can function, the brain functions so that the heart can beat. And every single one of your trillions and trillions of cells, over 50 trillion cells in your body, work together simultaneously, cooperatively, and sequentially to thrive, to give you life, to give you, and to have your life have meaning. And that's why you have the ability to classify and to categorize and to make judgments. And hopefully you do that with some discernment or wisdom. We're consciousness, and as science has evolved, I've become very fond of saying that science really hasn't discovered anything new. And this is true. And I'll mention that in a minute. But what it does is it verifies what we've known all along. Now, this may be a giant leap for some, and for others, like, oh, yeah, of course I knew that. But there's nothing that exists today that didn't exist when the universe began, if it began, with this big bang, that notion. So the computer that I'm working on right now, all of the materials necessary for that computer to be here existed at the very beginning, or forever. Let's say forever. It just wasn't made into a computer until more recently. There were plastics and metals and chips and things that had to be developed. We didn't know how to do that at the time because it wasn't necessary. At one time, using a blanket and doing smoke signals or writing on a wall with a piece of charcoal was enough. But as human consciousness evolved, something incredible happened. We learned to become creatures of habit through repetition as part of our evolution. You do the same thing over and over again, repeatedly, correctly, for a certain duration of time, and it becomes a wired-in neural habit. We're not. A lot of people think they have a person inside themselves who tells them what to do, or that can sabotage them, or that rags on them, or does something. You don't. You've got mental processes. They're electrochemical processes that sound like they're real. They appear like they're real. We know, for example, that when I speak with you, I'm actually percussing the air. I'm making noise. And what's happening is the noise that I'm making certain noises, and they're going through the air like they would through the computer or to a radio station or to your ear, and they're being translated so that you understand them. So if you didn't grow up speaking the language I did, you don't understand it. Those same sounds and that I'm uttering could be translated into another language, but you wouldn't understand it as if you're not a native English speaker, or if English isn't one of the other languages that you've learned. So we have this amazing thing that goes on inside of us, and that is we have consciousness and awareness, and then we have forgetfulness and non-awareness. We forget that there's no human or angel on our shoulder telling us what to do. It's these electrochemical processes. It's part of our evolution. It's part of our DNA, part of our cells, all working together in harmony, but also through these laid down neural pathways that we've conditioned ourselves through growing up and repeating things over and over that have become habits. We have habits of thought. We have habits of speech. We have habits of feeling. We have habits of action. We have financial habits. We have habits of whether we feel good or bad about certain things. These are the judgments or the classifications. So, but everything is just one thing. And then we find meaning in it and make meaning from it and assign meaning to it because we're meaning makers. And our whole purpose, it appears to be, in the universe is to evolve and to develop what we develop. So, there's a purposefulness to consciousness, and that is to create new things, to be creative, to enjoy what is around us, and to make use of it. So here's something that a lot of people don't understand. All innovation, or most all innovation, comes from discomfort or dissatisfaction or hardship or struggle or pain or suffering. When we were naked creatures running around the planet, we needed shelter. We would find something like a cave or under a tree. And then ultimately we built lean-tos, or we fashioned huts. We put on animal carcasses or whatever in order to keep us warm because we were cold. The same thing is true otherwise. Where it was too hot, we found ways to ultimately refrigerate and air condition and cool things down. All came about as a result of discontentment or difficulty or hardship or something. So in the world, there's one thing, and that's things happen. Before humans came along, there were earthquakes, fires, floods, tornadoes, and everything, but there was no human on it to judge it good or bad or right or wrong. nothing to ruin your day. They couldn't say this sucked because there's no one there to do it. When human consciousness arose, at some point, you could say, oh crap, I broke my spear. Now I got to make another one. The whole day is blown. It sucks. Now I got to go find another rock and some string. And, in other words, we're capable of that, but we're also capable of celebrating and understanding that there's a lot of good in the world and a lot of wonderfulness in the world. My son came to me when he was about 16 and asked me a question. He said, Dad, do you think the world's ending? I said, why do you ask? He said, well, because of all the stuff going on, the chaos and confusion. And I said, at the time, and this is true now as it was then, there are far more good people in the world than there are bad. We just hear about the bad people most of the time because of our media, which is designed to get our attention. It helps to program us, whether intentional or otherwise, and to cause us discomfort so that we buy products and do things. That pretty much is what ads are all about. Make you feel dissatisfied with who you are, what you're doing, where you are, where you live, what you have, and all that kind of stuff, so that you'll buy whatever they're offering. So, we're conditioned on that level. But our purpose here, and science is more, seems to be there's only two things that the brain does, and that is to keep you surviving. So it has a way of looking out in the world and looking for what's wrong, meaning what's dangerous, not what's negative or what's bad, but what's dangerous that could threaten you or cause you harm, could eat you, in other words, and or to keep you thriving. Why do you keep you thriving? Because then you reproduce and you further the species. And so the life continues and goes on and we continue to elevate. So this computer that we had years ago didn't exist in reality, but it resisted all the materials necessary and all of the know-how necessary hadn't yet evolved, but all of the materials to make the metals and the plastics and the chips and the screen and the glass and everything else did exist. And at some point through human evolution, we figured that out and we fashioned those items, the plastics, the metals, the glass, the chips, and we came up with a computer that today your phone is more powerful than the one that landed a rocket ship on the moon. It's all based on necessity or discomfort. Now, why is there hardship in the world? To get you to leave your comfort zone so that you can innovate, so that you move forward, so that you evolve. And yet most people don't like discomfort. They hate it. They don't want it. They don't like struggle. They don't want financial debt. They don't want any of this stuff. But it's all there for our good. And I'm not saying anyone is doing it for our good. I'm saying it is just all there for our good because you learn from it, you move from it, you grow from it, if you're wise enough to do that. If you become aware that inside that hardship and that difficulty is actually a seed of opportunity, that if you look for it and find it, you can make use of to evolve forward and move forward in a positive way. Because this is what it's about. So how do we do that? I'm fond of saying this. If you expect something to be a problem, it will be a problem. Or if you consider it a problem, it's going to be a problem. And if you expect or consider something to be a blessing, it can be a blessing. Henry Ford said a beautiful thing. He said, if you think you can or you think you can't, you're correct. So if you think something is not possible, you're unlikely to probably even seek to try and do it. It needs to be possible or probable or plausible or possibly likely for you to decide that maybe you could do it. And then it's whether you can do it. And if you can do it, then it's a matter of will you do it. But you first have to have the awareness that something can be different. Something could be more positive. Something could be better. Something could be more enjoyable. Something could be more worthwhile, and then move forward in that way. And Ford said something else that's truly important. He said, I never let what I cannot do prevent me from doing what I can. Now, I want to share something about the Wright brothers, because the Wright brothers are responsible for our air travel. They were bike builders who decided they wanted to create a heavier than air aircraft. And here's the thing. They started by building this craft and by experimenting and doing these different things. And all the while they were doing it, they were failing, right? It didn't work, it didn't work, it didn't work, it didn't work, but it didn't stop them. They were committed to doing it. Their own father said, you're idiots, give it up. The neighbors, everybody thinks you're crazy. You're the laughing stock of the community. You're never going to fly. If you were meant to fly, God would have given you wings, right? But they kept at it and kept at it and kept at it. But instead of letting failure defeat them, this is mindset, this is attitude, this is a number of things. They used the feedback to make adjustments and to tinker and then to try again. So all the while they were doing this, they were experimenting, and they didn't get the outcome that they wanted until one day they got the outcome that they wanted. They flew 12 seconds at Kitty Hawk. That moment was the moment that they knew how to fly. Prior to that, they were attempting to fly. They didn't know how. They didn't know if they could. They didn't know if they would. They just stayed with it until they flew. And then once they flew, they knew how to improve on it. But it was their dedication, it was their commitment, it was their optimism, it was their hope, it was the fact that they didn't let anything knock the wind out of their sails. They stayed with it, and you and I can do that too. But see, they thought it was possible to do that, and so it was worth it to them to try. And other people had tried, and people had tried before that and had not succeeded. See, if you want to win a marathon, all you have to do is cross the line at some point. Doesn't matter whether you make it in a day. Doesn't matter if you make it 5 years later. As long as you're moving in that direction, if you cross the finish line, you have finished the marathon. And this is what happens for a lot of people. They try things a couple of times, and then they stop, and they quit, and they give up. So I'm going to share with you something that's truly amazing and truly powerful, and you can apply it, and you can do it. And if you use it, it will transform your experience. It will transform you, your spirit, your mind, your emotions, your feelings. One of the things I love, I'm going to go back to Jody for a second, Dr. Jody, is her enthusiasm. Notice how much fun she has presenting and how much enthusiasm and energy she has. This is a key component. Back when I started my work about 50 years ago, there was a study, and it was Travis Air Force Base did a study about cancer patients, and they determined that the attitude that the patient had toward the treatment of the disease was more important than what they thought about the disease. In other words, the success was based on if they thought the treatment would work, the treatment was far more likely to work than if they thought the treatment didn't. It was just powerful, an example of the placebo effect in action, which, 40, 50 years ago, people thought was silly, stupid. They didn't really know much about it. Doctors would dismiss it. Now we know the placebo effect is not the placebo. It's not the pill or an amulet or the item. It's the effect of your beliefs, your attitude have on your ability to heal, to transform, to develop anything that you would like to do in life in a more powerful and positive way. Because attitude has since then become the number one predictor for success in every area of your life. Your spiritual life, your mental life, your emotional life, your spirit, the words out of your mouth life, the things that you do, and your financial life. Attitude, whether it's sports, health, healing, whatever it is, attitude is the number one predictor for success. But what kind of attitude helps you be successful? Because it's not just being pumped up and going, I can do it, and I'm going to smash down walls. That's not a bad start, but you don't have to do that everywhere. You don't want to talk to a little child and go, hey, little kid, you can do it. You can sit down and go, hi, you know what? You can do things easily and with more fun and more. Attitude is not just about being pumped up, and that's the mistake that a lot of people make, but it is about enthusiasm. It is about optimism. It is about what Ford said. If you think you can, you can. But if you think you can't, you can't. And that is what the placebo effect demonstrates. The most powerful attitude you can have is to develop that attitude of gratitude. So why is that? Because there are people, and I have lots of clients who are millionaires and billionaires who have everything that you could ever imagine having. They have the planes, the cars, the boats, the yachts, the trophy people, the trophy stuff, the teams, this, the that, the other. But they're not fulfilled inside. They're lonely. They feel unfulfilled. The things don't do it for them. And why is that? Because a lot of people chase after things, and they get the things and find out that all that chasing didn't make them happier. Getting them didn't make it happier. In order to be happy with things, you have to be happy first. And then the things that you can enjoy. But if you're not happy first, you're not going to enjoy the things. You'll always feel empty and alone. And this is what so many people sadly discover. And I talk about this in the book that is here, the Pedia book, and in my programs and workshops on my website. Feel free to visit me. My own website is rexsikes.com, my name, and go there. I'll give you a free gift, But the thing is this: people get caught up in the daily distractions of everyday life, the unawareness, the chaos and confusion. They categorize and they classify things as bad and unsavory and unwanted and tough and hard and difficult, or takes long, or is an annoyance or whatever. And so their attitude mainly throughout the day is on what's wrong and not working and how things suck, for example, right? When you change that, when you start by beginning to appreciate anything and everything, the little things and the big things, appreciation, appreciate, you get more back. Because as you start to go, I'm so glad this is the case, that transformation of thought with the enthusiasm that you can expect. Because I 30, 40 years ago, I would recommend that people write down every night before they go to bed 25 items that they're grateful for. Family, friends, people, not just items, not just things, but people, relationships, whatever. And people in my live programs back then or online would say, 25, are you kidding me? How will I ever do that? Well, after 3 or 4 days of writing on 25, they come to me and say, could we do more? And I go, well, of course you can do more. Don't stop at 25, but press yourself to do 25 things every day that you're truly, truly grateful for. And then express that gratitude. But it's not just the listing of it, it's the expression of it. You go, I am so glad, I am so grateful that I have this. I've got girl dogs that I take to the dog park every day. They are total, but I mean, not only that, I mean, I've got children that I'm truly grateful for, but I'm trying to make a point here. I've got these girl dogs and they light up my life. They are my life and I am their life. I take care of them. I take them to dog parks. They go with me wherever I go. I travel with them, whatever. They are a celebration because of who they are and what they are. And I'm so grateful that every day I'm like, I so love you. I'm so grateful. It's a privilege to be able to take care of you, to take you to the dog parks, to feed you and to care for you. It's not that I'm saying it. It's that I'm feeling it that matters. It's the feelings that make the difference. It's the feeling of gratitude, the feeling of enthusiasm. You hear a lot about raising your vibration, and this is how you raise your vibration. Consider this. I just talked about millionaires and billionaires who aren't happy with what they have, and that's because of who they are. Who they are. Most of society and even many thought leaders today get it backwards and wrong. They will tell you, if you want a house, a car, a boat, and they have them all behind them, they take pictures standing in front of them, they're on the stages and the platforms, they got the great clothes and the jewelry and the whole thing, like life is perfect. If you want this, then you have to work really hard and struggle and sacrifice 10 times your energy, take massive action, break down walls, sweat and struggle, and do this until you get what you want. And then when you have the car, the house, the trophy spouse, whatever it might be, then you'll be a person of importance and success. Well, I'm sorry, that's wrong. They don't know it, or they know it and they're telling you a lie. Okay. It's who you are determines what you do and how you do it so that you can have what you have. There are plenty of people who have virtually nothing in life, who are deliriously happy. They're enthusiastic. They have loving, caring family relationships. They live in mud huts. They walk barefoot. They don't have clothes. They carry water miles from them, but they're delighted. And when they have something small, they delight and they share. Someone gets an apple and they share. It's not like they get the apple and go, oh, I'm going to covet this apple. They give. You see, it's the giving part of the energy. It's the ability to give that allows you to be able to receive. If you're a stingy giver, you'll be a bad receiver, okay? Because you'll be trying to take instead of receiving and allowing. So what happens when you change your mindset and you start appreciating things? When you start to look at the things around you, whatever it may be, your car, your house, and it's not ideal, but you thank yourself and you thank the universe, you thank your God, whatever it is, you express the gratitude for it exactly as it is. I live in this house. This is fantastic. Because if you don't appreciate what you have, it's hard to get something else. Yes, you might notice it and say, it's time for me to move. And that's that discomfort place. And that's fine. I mean, because you move because you go, I don't like it anymore. The shoe doesn't fit. I need to get a new shoe. Okay. But at the same time, if you appreciate it, you can up level and upgrade so much more easier than if you hate it. Because what you hate, what you resist, persists. Have you ever seen two guys go at it like in a bar? One pushes the other. What does the other one do? They push back. They push back. If you push back on them, they push back on you. And then they get into the thing where they're fighting. What you resist persists. If you push back on things, if you go, I hate my car, I hate my hair, I hate my nose, I hate this, I hate that, I don't like, all you're doing is creating resistance for change. You're putting the brakes on. You're trying to go 60 miles an hour down the street with the foot on the brake. You're creating a situation where you have one foot on the dock and one foot on the boat, but you're not getting anywhere. Okay. What you want to do is feel truly gratitude. Now, you may have to work your way into that by going, I like this about that. I like this about that. I'm so grateful for this. I'm so grateful for that. And work your way up to it if you're not completely grateful for it. But so list the things that you're grateful for, but then take time to savor them, to feel them, to express them. I am so thrilled with my children. I'm so thrilled with the life I have. I'm so thrilled that I get to talk to you. I'm so thrilled with my girl dogs. But it's not just the big things, it's the tiny things. I sit down to a meal if it's something I want, and I like Thai food and exotic foods, and I go, my God, this is what life is all about. I love the scenery around me. I love to look at things. I see things of Switzerland or Iceland or Bali or whatever. I'm like, oh my God, the world is such a beautiful place. You want to feel it because that's what raises the vibration. When you raise your vibration, you live from that vibration, things begin to magically change. Why? Because you've taken your foot off the brake, you've taken your foot off the dock, you've jumped into the boat, or you're speeding through life with the car, and things get magically more easy and effortlessly. So when I tell people, and I tell you this now, become the kind of person for whom manifesting is easy, and you'll manifest all the things that you want, or most of the things that you want. It's more swiftly, easily, more delightfully, and with more fun than having to struggle, fight, and work in 10 times every day. Certainly you can do that. But why sacrifice your health, mental or physical or emotional health? Why sacrifice your family and the leisure time that you have and the family time and friends time that you have? Why sacrifice anything and everything in order to squeeze ahead to get another dollar? And money's fine, but I'm just saying, understand that there's a better way to do that. And that's through gratitude and through appreciation and through enthusiasm and through raising your vibes. There's a scripture that I really love. This is the day that the Lord hath made. Rejoice and be glad in it. He doesn't say be glad in some of it or just being glad in the good things. This is the day, all of it. The bad things, the confusion, the chaos, the discord, the lack of harmony, the arguments, the fights. Learn to celebrate it. Learn to learn from it. Learn to find the opportunity in that. Realize that it's an opportunity to become more aware. A lot of people don't like the people around them because they think they're nasty or energy vampires or something like that. Those people are gifts. They're there on the planet for you. We're part of one organism. They're obviously they're there for you. We're one species. But the point is they're there for you, whether you like them or not, for you not to dislike them as much as it is for you to look inside and decide, what is it about me or you that is upset when they're in my place? Why do I react that way? What is it in my past or my history? And it's not that you have to find that out. It's that you let go of the triggers. You let go of that aspect so that you celebrate them. They're your teachers. They're your liberators, really, but they're in disguise. They're in disguise of someone you don't like. They're in disguise of somebody who grates on you. And that's true about all circumstances and all events. People, events, circumstances, and places, they're all there in consciousness to wake us up to who we truly are. So it's about who you are that determines what you do and how you do it, easily or hard, that allows you to have what you have. And if you're grateful for the entire process, and you're grateful for yourself, and you're grateful for the hardship and the easy times, when you celebrate everything, everything becomes a celebration. And while you go through the process, you may have highs and lows or roller coaster rides or different times, but that's the awareness process. That's the evolutionary process. As you give up the old things that have harmed you or hurt you or held you back, you begin to release that energy to pour into all the good things and to move you forward in a way to allow you to have those other things that you want, whether they're physical items or a relationship or a mindset. Remember, it's about your spirit and it's about your mind. I'm known as the mindset doctor and the attitude, or the mindset master and the attitude doctor, because thoughts are everything in some ways. They determine what you think about things, and what you think determines how you feel, and how you feel then feeds back into what you think. So this is cybernetic loop. And then what comes out of your mouth is a reflection of what you're thinking and feeling. And sadly, most people, when they talk, go, this guy at the coffee shop this morning or the freeway traffic, they complain a lot. Misery loves company, right? So put a guard before your lips. I always say, speak only to bless, edify, heal, inspire, prosper, transform, uplift, and make all of your moments magical, memorable, miraculous, and magnificent because you can. So celebrate everything. And when you move that way with gratitude, everything transforms. It may not happen immediately, or it could. It depends on what you expect. So live life fully because you deserve to. And when you do that, you are fulfilled. I love you. Thank you. Jody, Dr. Jody.
Yeah, but you're not done yet, because I want you to say it one more time. I want it to be on the screen. Let all your moments be, because only you do that. Give us your quote again.
Make all of your moments magical, memorable, miraculous, and magnificent. And buy the book and enjoy the summit and have a fabulous life. Come visit me at rexsikes.com/book for my book, or for free gifts and things at my website. But get this book. You got great speakers and authors who've contributed to it. Jody is responsible for getting this all together. You got Dr. Bernie Siegel and everyone else. So get the book, enjoy the summit, share this now while it's live, and then share the replays.
And share the fact that now we're going to savor the fine 25, and we will be alive and doing this for another 40 years, because that's just who you are. Thank you, Rex, for being you, because you are so many things, but you are so real. So let's make sure, as we say, that that we see us, the two of us, together in person down at Boca, because it's going to be experiential extraordinaire. Much love. Ciao for now.
Looking forward to all the people we meet there who come to join us.
Yes, all the 150. It'll be 150 strong. Thank you, Rex.
Will be a gratitude celebration. Thank you, Jody.
Ciao, 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 ciao for now. So now we'll move in to a quick commercial break, and then we'll have much, much more. But like Rex says, buy the book. The scan code is there. Get one for yourself. Get one for your friend. But that scan code will be live now for your update. You want to get your information in there, and we go live on the 26th of August. August? Did I say August? Well, August just flew by. I guess it's September. It'll be live this month in 5 days. Let's take a look. Let's take a listen to one of our main sponsors, who is also the author. He is my guru. It is Dr. James Marinakis of PPI. The most important thing is PPI is a sponsor, author sponsor, and Dr. James Marinakis will be the facilitator for Boca, our live summit event, first ever Healthopedia, as he takes us through an experiential intensive at a 300% cost differentiation than what he charges locally or individually. So let's take a listen to and feel the wisdom of PPI, Personal Performance Institute.
The main reason I believe people's health is declining globally is because they don't do the things every day that they need to maintain themselves. They don't walk enough, they don't get enough nutrients, they accumulate way too much stress, they don't expose themselves to nature. They work under artificial lights that damage the rods and cones of their eye, their brain, disturb functions of their liver. Everybody wants to be free from disease, and they want to enjoy a long and happy life. At the Personal Performance Institute, we teach you how to do exactly that. It starts right in the beginning. The very first things you'll do, which are simple instructions, will improve your health, and they will make you feel better about yourself. Not believe that you feel better about yourself, but actually feel better about yourself. That's what the Personal Performance Institute can do for you.
Now I'd like to say, let's go in and find out about our charities. Our charities, one of which is Gabe's Heart Foundation. And for this month and next month, I know many of you, just like the personal, as I would call it, PBS. PBS is the one that you've got to donate to. I knew it'd come to me in a minute. But PBS, what are we doing here? We've got a situation with PBS that donations are what keeps it going. Well, donations keep Traverse going and Healthopedia, our channel, going. Those donations, a portion of it has always gone to charity, but all of the proceeds that you will be donating, as you do, my patrons, every single month, it's going to be going to 2 charities this month and next month. One of which is Gabe's Heart Foundation with Kim Jacobs, and what we're doing with her son. And I may just be giving a brief overview that I'm sure they're having this big event on Saturday. And we hope that she's going to pop in and be able to speak with us. But Gabe's Heart Foundation, but also Maui Strong. So, gang, let's just go ahead and put up Kim Jacobs, the Balance Doctor's video, so I can talk about Gabe's Heart Foundation. Let's take a look. Let's take a listen.
I am so excited about Gabe's Heart Foundation 5K walk. It's our 8th annual walk taking place on September 23rd, Saturday, September 23rd at 8 a.m. You can either walk virtually or in person. Go to gabesheartfoundation.org so you can register. You can donate any amount, and that gets you in to go ahead and register and walk. And if you want a t-shirt, then definitely order it right at gabesheartfoundation.org. I just want to thank Mr. Boatwright and Zach Boatwright and all of my neighbors, my previous neighbors that go to great extremes to keep up this beautiful memorial garden in honor of my son, Gabriel Michael Jacobs. And they don't have to do this, but for them to go to this extreme with this level of beauty is something that I will cherish forever. So listen, everybody, take a moment. Go to gabesheartfoundation.org and let's get ready to have a memorial walk that's going to educate people about sudden cardiac arrest in pediatric youth. We don't want any child to have to lose their life on this earth because of something that could be surgically corrected. So go to gabesheartfoundation.org now. Look forward to seeing you Saturday, September 23rd at 8 a.m.
While being mentored and studying with the iconic pioneer in natural healer, Dr. Hulda Clark, and experiencing her life-changing practices and protocols, a goal card was written and dated in 1984 stated, "I will write the Eastern medical version of the PDR, Physician's Desk Reference. The universe delivered a sign to actualize this goal. Now, in 2023, we are experiencing vision and mission into fruition. Healthopedia has arrived, led by the iconic 20th and 21st century icon, Dr. Bernie Siegel, MD, author of Love, Medicine, and Miracles, along with 42 extraordinary healing world changers that will motivate, educate, inspire, and propel you along your own path to wholeness, wellness, and abundance. Every compelling story will uplift you to your own epiphany of health isn't something you do, it's what you become along life's journey."
Health is something that you can become. Just start today. Just start today. And I want to just give a real great setup to Kim Jacobs and what she's doing. She's running a few minutes late, and I'll tell you why. The Balance Doctor right now, who is Kim Jacobs, is doing a whole lot. You see, Saturday is Gabe's Heart Foundation. This is the 8th annual run walk 5K that she has done. And we're going to put that ticker on up so everybody can go ahead and go to Gabe's Heart Foundation. Last year, it was my great honor that we, through Clubhouse, I think it was somewhere along the lines of $10,000 that we were able to collect. I hope we can do it again. Gabe's heart, yes, it was very tragic, as these pediatric things always are. He absolutely was, he'd never spent a day outside his home. and he was 12 years old. Very, very large children Kim has, as Ivan, her son, which will be speaking on Friday. Our next event here will be Friday, and he will be speaking. He played football. They just all are that kind of people, but he just always took up for the other kid, the one that got bullied. He was a big kid, but he had a heart. That's why it's Gabe's Heart Foundation. But his heart stopped tragically. It was sudden cardiac arrest. And he was playing basketball. He was doing the thing that he wanted and most loved to do. But they tried to resuscitate him. No luck. 15 minutes is too long. So what Kim is using this money that she is raising, I know her goal is this time is $20,000 by Saturday. They are going to, in the Charlotte, North Carolina area where Kim Jacobs lives with her family, her 5 kids or her 4, but they always say she's got 5 kids. I love that. They want to put a defibrillator that's close to the locale of where kids congregate, so it's accessible. Because if there's one beating heart that can be there, it will be so worth it. So this is Kim. This is her heart. My goodness gracious. Last year at this time, I was just thinking, we're releasing our book, correct, on the 26th of September. On the 26th of September last year, Hurricane Ian hit the Fort Myers area and just eviscerated Florida. I was part of that. One of the reasons I'm still in my rental house rather than my real house. However, Kim was the person, after we raised this money, just 2 or 3 days before, the 23rd of September, 26th, this happened. She said, Jody, what can we do? Are you okay? We did a broadcast. I'm on Kim Jacobs on her Freestyle Fridays twice a month. I am one of her experts, obviously, on health. But I went ahead and just did it while I was moving branches, no makeup. It was like those times, ladies, do you understand it when you look uglier than original sin? It was one of those times for me, for sure, because I was cleaning up my yard, finally got outside my door. She said, what can we do? And we put together that fund for Hurricane Ian. We had 64 speakers. It was a 2-day telethon. It was televised on YouTube, all major social media outlets, and on Traverse TV. Big thanks to the people at Traverse for letting us do this. That was Kim Jacobs' idea. She always says, what can we do? Now I'm going to say, go to Gabe's Heart Foundation. You can either do it by one way, doing your monthly donation, you're contributing to the Healthopedia channel, or do it directly to Gabe's Heart Foundation. That's what I'm going to say, because Kim has a heart unlike any other. She is the balance doctor with these 5 kids. And I am going to take a moment as she's coming on stage. I can totally say that her son, Ivan, who is an author, and when you hear his story, because 4 out of their 5 children that Kim had cystic fibrosis. Any condition, anybody's body can be put in the right condition, and it can and will heal itself. What happened with Kim? What happened with Kim Jacobs' son, Ivan, who had a situation, got cystic fibrosis very late in life. Usually it's an early onset, but he got extremely overweight. I was honored that I could help him lose 100 pounds. Get his weight back. You'll hear his story tomorrow. So as we're waiting to retrieve Kim and her balancing everything she is for these 4 days and giving her honor, just go to GabesHeartFoundation.org. You'll be glad that you did, just a little or a lot. I can say one good thing to segue into this, our backstage gang, is the coffee that's going to be consumed by the Charlotte winners and runners. Right there will be Vibra 360. It'll be Vibra coffee. So let's run that Vibra ad and let's feel that 6 mushroom coffee that those runners are going to have. You can have yours too. Zebra, I will tell you, it is Dr. Jody approved. You can go to vproducts.store and get 6 mushroom, just not one. You see, the mushroom blend of this coffee is unlike any other. I have a lot to do with it. Reishi is great, but when you put shiitake, maitake, cordyceps, lion's mane, and then put that additional 6 mushroom, which is Acacia blazei, in the coffee. When you keep your body alkaline, talk about a healthopedia. When you keep your body alkaline, you will be free of disease. When you do the things that Rex Sikes was talking about, and keeping that activator up there with that gratitude activator and that enthusiasm, you will have the 25 things that mean the most to you. You will be able to keep that alive as well. I can certainly say that when you do, attitude wise, but then you drink the coffee, that everybody drinks coffee, but I'm going to tell you a little secret. Coffee is the most acidic thing on planet Earth. Oh, yes, acidic. Well, acid causes disease. It just does physically in your body. Trey Urban and I were talking about that feeling of how being paralyzed, which I was from the shoulders on down, she was from the waist down, and getting that inflammation out of your system will allow you then to create alkalinity. Inflammation is the number one cause of all disease. Frankly, because it is the cause of all disease, it's because your body's acid. So do yourself a favor, without sounding too much of a commercial. But I've heard medical doctors, I've heard even Eastern healing practitioners say the one thing that you need to, see their patient or their client patient, the one thing that you need to rid yourself of, how much coffee do you drink? Well, 3 cups. You need to go ahead and get a different coffee. Guess what? What happens is that coffee, they think, oh yeah, I'm going to give it up. But then on the way home, they go to that place that's the green thing. And I'm going to say it's Starbucks. That's the most acidic coffee on planet Earth. And they go get that cup of coffee anyway. So do yourself a favor. Your future self will thank you. So as we wait on Kim's arrival, yes, we can go ahead and go into the other sponsorship that we're doing for this time, for this book. On the 26th, you'll get your copy. Yes, we will go ahead and go into Maui Strong. Listen with your heart.
How would they feel? Would their smiles be content then and cry? Cry for the gods, cry for the people, cry for the land that was taken away, and then yet you'll find a way.
Aging seniors face a variety of challenges when it comes to their health and well-being. Now, there's a way to take control of aging. Meet Buddy, your personal health assistant. Buddy is a cutting-edge digital health solution that empowers seniors and their caregivers to be proactive in aging. The platform works on smartwatches worn by the senior and paired to their phone. Buddy automatically detects, predicts, and prevents falls. If a fall is detected, your loved one's watch will vibrate and display fall detected, I'm okay, or help me. At the same time, an alert is sent to the caregiver and a 5-minute countdown begins. If the alert is not addressed within the 5 minutes, Buddy will automatically connect to 911. Many times, a loved one is prescribed a walker or cane when they become a fall risk. Through Bluetooth and gamification, Buddy encourages the use of assistive walking devices by providing points that can be converted to gift cards. Buddy also reminds your loved ones to take their medications on time. One of its most innovative features, Buddy uses all the data it collects to create a personalized baseline and measures deviations to alert of potential health issues. Gain greater connectedness, peace of mind, independence, and security through Buddy, your personal health assistant. To learn more, visit www.buddylife.com.
Shannon Roper, board-certified family nurse practitioner, CEO, and founder of Roper's Health Oasis, located in beautiful Carlsbad, New Mexico. Shannon took her vision of true holistic healthcare to promote wellness instead of illness and show you how you can live between office visits, as Dr. Bernie Siegel says. She has your best interest as a priority and incorporates the 6 pillars of health into each day. Join Shannon along with the other 39 authors as she elevates Healthopedia and creates a real health oasis for you and your life.
These are a tour. I'm glad that we got to do this. So we're going to take a break and look. Yeah, we've got the gravity ball. We've got the gravity ball. This thing, if you did that yawn that Suzanne was talking about, it would be absolutely amazing. Gravity Ball. These are our author sponsors. Gravity Ball, Dr. Mark Chavez, you'll hear from him tomorrow. And then our publishing company, MYB, that's publishing Healthopedia. Here's my copy, my hardcover copy of Power of a Woman. We'll be ending with Jay Noland, executive coach, trainer, and CEO of MYB Publishing. I want to thank Shannon Roper for Roper's Health Oasis. Roper's Health Oasis, to go ahead and say that we've learned that there are people practicing the Dr. Bernie Siegel, thinking outside the box in just all that we do. And now I know it is absolutely, it's pretty cool to be able to introduce Kim Jacobs twice because she deserves it. I get to introduce her twice. Whatever is needed, she does. I know without a shadow of a doubt, she was going like a million miles an hour with Gabe's Heart Foundation, the 5K walk, run, what we're doing to raise this money. You know, I said, Kim, I'm just going to bring you up for a minute, my dear. You're just like my sister, Kim. This is what
I love you, Dr. Jody.
I love you too. And we knew that you were running. And I knew today energetically, I wanted to thank all my sponsors anyway. So it was perfect. Everything is always aligned perfectly. But I'll tell you, Miss Red Glasses.
Okay, I was going to put my glasses on, but they're just reading glasses.
Yes. Just red heart and all of that. We have your heart. That we've run your ad, your wish for Gabe's Heart Foundation. We know it's Saturday. We know that Vibra is sponsoring the event with some of that good coffee.
Yes.
Yes, that alkaline coffee. But we want to give you honor. And I know you can say 20 minutes in 7. The next 7 minutes is yours to just give your heart, because Rex likes talked about gratitude. And I know that you too have such a gratitude heart, being the balanced doctor, because you walk the talk. I'm just so happy that I'm part of the extended family of Kim Jacobs. The next 8 minutes is yours, Kim.
Well, thank you so much, Dr. Jody Bear, and everyone with Healthopedia. I'm telling you, you definitely have to get this book. This is a game-changing situation in life with all of these 42 authors here to kind of like educate us at this level about how important our health is. And my son, Ivan Jacobs, is one of the contributing authors, so I'm quite honored for that as well. I'm Kim Jacobs, host of the Kim Jacobs Show, and I also am kind of known as the balanced doctor because I wear a lot of different hats and all of that. But here's the thing that I want you to know is that I was told when I was young, I had an ovarian cyst that had formed on my ovary, had to be rushed into emergency surgery. And I was told at that time that I would never have children. And you all that are out here watching or listening today may have been told some things that you would never be able to do. But at the end of the day, God ultimately has the final say. So at the end of the day, when I got pregnant with my oldest son, Frank Jr., I was like, wait, what? I didn't even know that was even a possibility. So things that we're walking through life with, thinking that it's not going to be able to happen one way, but then it turns out completely different in your favor, is nothing but a blessing from God. And so, from my perspective, when I started bearing children, I didn't just stop there. I literally went on to have five children out of my body, and all of them came out. They're blessings, and just what I think I've learned along this journey is the fact that sometimes you think that God is calling you to be able to be the person that delivers hope and inspiration and adoration and things of that nature. But really, sometimes He's birthing hope in you. So I feel like not only am I able to express and encourage people to be hopeful in this journey called life, but I also feel like I've birthed messengers of hope. And in doing so, what I mean by that is that I have 5 children, all together very different, very different. One is a student at UNC Chapel Hill. He's a senior graduating in December, digital marketing guru type of person. But this young man is full of hope. He teaches me, leads me, and guides me in a lot of different directions. Then I have my son, Ivan, which you all are going to get to know because he's a part of Healthopedia. And he went on his own personal weight loss journey, lost over 100 pounds, y'all. Dr. Jody Bear and him are like, they locksteps, right? So he's gone on his own personal journey, and now he's National Association Sports Medicine certified, student at UNC Charlotte, and he has majorpt.com. So he actually takes on clients. So he encourages me and trains me, and he's like, Mom, I know you're not going to eat that. I'm like, dude, can you not be my son right now? Then I have my son Jeremiah, and he does like digital marketing websites, overlays for all of these different talk shows and stuff that you see, and is doing a wonderful job. He had his Make-A-Wish come true, where he was able to go to meet billionaire Robert F. Smith. And so that was just like a very hopeful moment for me going through my son, a wish that, if it's Make-A-Wish, you know how that flows. But for him to still be a messenger of hope and be able to encourage other people, him, his brother Ivan, and my daughter Jayla, who is she's in high school, sophomore year, an animation specialist, has a YouTube channel, draws everything from scratch. But the 3 of them, Ivan, Jeremiah, and Jayla, they officially kick cystic fibrosis, a lung disease, in the head. They've raised about $2.2 million last year as CF ambassadors with the Cystic Fibrosis Foundation. So I see parents that are reaching out to them, asking them, how are y'all doing this? My kid has a feeding tube. They're having struggles. They're trying to barely make it. And you all are out here thriving and functioning. It's because God has allowed them to be a messenger of hope. I want you all to hear that, because sometimes when we talk about our children, we talk about them, but we don't necessarily equate it to how they are a blessing on this earth, not only to me, but to everyone that encounters them. And I'm staying within my time frame. That's why you may see me looking to the side. But here's the thing. One of my children, and I'll keep it as surface level as I can, His name's Gabriel Michael Jacobs, named after two angels. When I talked about today's message of hope, I knew that I birthed him as a messenger of hope as well. And the reason is because I was told that by the coroner that there was no human way possible for him to survive outside of the womb based on the type of defect that he had. So that leads me to believe then that he actually lived for 12 years, became a giant, 5'10", football player, anti-bullying mediator known as Guardian Gabe, walking this earth really almost in an angelic form. What a true blessing from God when you look at it from that perspective. Because at the end of the day, he came on this earth. Over 100 people accepted Christ as their savior because of him at his homegoing service with over 1,000 people attending. That is mind-blowing. He touched so many lives. So Gabe's heart continues to beat through Gabe's Heart Foundation, and it's our desire to raise funds to get portable defibrillators placed in public spaces that will help be able to hopefully save from the time that it takes from ambulance or different ones to get there, which may take 12 to 15 minutes or whatever. That's what the case was for us. But when they get there, they're giving their all. They're pouring their soul out to help that person. At the end of the day, if we can get the funds to raise for those defibrillators, it can help make a difference in someone's lives. So someone else's life. So please consider donating to Gabe's Heart Foundation. And most importantly, as Jesse Jackson used to say, keep hope alive. No barrier, no wall of resistance can stop the onslaught of persistent hope. But through it all, you must keep hope alive. That's my time. I'm Kim Jacobs, the Balance Doctor. And I love all of you.
I just love y'all. So guess what? We figured out a way with this magical run sheet. We got just a little bit more time. So let's you and I just have a little conversation, shall we?
Absolutely.
Because Kim, you talk about hope. And then we had Rex on with the gratitude activator. You start with hope and then you go in the gratitude. You said during nobody wants to ever do what you had to do with their child. No. And yet you're grateful. And I thought, this is a Bernie Siegel quote from Dr. Bernie Bitts, that two of them that I thought made so much sense for you. Remember, you can't change the past, but you can change the way you view it. You epitomize that, and you've done something about it, Kim, by doing this amazing work with these defibrillators. And I know you hit your goal last year with 20,000. You're going to hit it again. I know you will, because we have a viewing audience. And the other one that I just wanted to go ahead and share with you is, this is you, Kim Jacobs, and it's kind of like in my real house that we're filming and doing this. And I was just going to say, why are we getting some feedback? Because they decided to go ahead and mow the hedges right now. You never know what's going to happen in life. Dan Gilman, they're just mowing the hedges back there. So, we just go over, under, around, and through.
That's right.
And what you have done going over, under, around, and through with this, you've just devoted yourself to helping others. I said in our segue prior to you coming up, I am honored to say that I'm a part of Freestyle Friday. You know, if I'm anywhere on planet Earth, I'll go ahead and I'll be there on your show. It's one of the highlights of my day when I get to be on there.
It's the highlight of our episodes, and the people in the community benefit from America's top health coach, y'all. The advice she gives, people's lives are changing forever for the better. So that's why you have to be there. I hope you always come for sure.
Right. The Kim Jacobs shows, she runs this every single day because she's devoted herself to helping others. And guess what? Because you've done that, as Bernie Siegel says, you will be amazed at the coincidences. Because there was no coincidence that we came in and we collided and met that one time, because I never, ever, when I was coaching that first time around with our uncle, you call him, he's your father, Les Brown. Let's face it, let me tell you something. You came in and coached and said, this is how you can do a podcast. And I said, okay, I'm there. I just tuned less out, less. Please don't take that as an insult. And I filled out that form, and the next thing you know, I'm on your show. There were no coincidences that Ivan and I connected through you.
That's
And I was able to be a part of that. There was no coincidence that we were able to do for Gabe's Heart Foundation last year. And
Thank
you know
you
that,
all.
and you know what we say down south? One more again. So
One
what
more again.
so what are your final words on either hope or gratitude? Would love to hear, Kim. Just give us your parting words.
My parting words is that I just believe that all of us have gifts and talents that God has trusted us with, Dr. Jody, and he really wants us to salt this earth. And the only way we can do that is if we step sometimes out of our comfort zone and we just start walking in our purpose and in our calling. If you don't know what that is, ask some of your friends, pray about it, but definitely don't just sit and do nothing, because that the whole world misses out when that's the case.
Always do something. That is the A in gratitude, that we grow into action. And you are in action. We'll be praying for you. We'll know that the funds are coming through in every which way possible. Just let's have a real, just have a ball in your tennies on Saturday and drink that good coffee. Okay.
Lots of it. We have bulk coffee, and there's a person that's matching a donation. If we get $3,500, then they're going to do a match. So please send the funds in for Gabe's Heart. Thank you,
Beautiful.
Dr. Jody.
I love you. I love you. Ciao for now.
Bye-bye.
Kim Jacobs. And then we go and the hits keep coming. As we're hearing the buzzer, who knew that we would have the day late with the people that are doing my hedges. So I'm going to bring Arthur up, and then I'm going to tell them, go bye-bye, do it another day. But a friend of a friend of a friend. Isn't this just the way it goes? Our wonderful ambassador, Jamie Matheson, our Healthopedia ambassador, absolutely came to me and I said, we're needing of a sponsor, not only for this broadcast, but for our event. Do you know of anyone? I took my core group of 6. Guess what? Jamie said, I know somebody. And I said, oh, what is it? She said, well, it's Buddy. And I said, well, who's Buddy? Is it a friend of the family? She said, no, it's Buddy. You know, have you ever had those text threads that go back and forth and back and forth? It was one of those. No, who's Buddy? Well, Buddy is something that I know about. Okay, is something that I know about? Is it a thing, a person, place, or thing? Well, finally, after about 10 text threads, she said, it's a company. Live freely. And you'll see it go up. Live freely today. Arthur and Daniel Zhu are the co-founders of this company. Why did they do this? Because it's that heart passion that Kim talked about of and absolutely that heart passion that you get with your child that drives you because you have hope and gratitude. And they decided to do something about proactive aging. Well, I can feel this knowing that my next birthday is 70. We have to be proactive with aging. And she created, and they created, just like Kim created that amazing Gabe's Heart Foundation. You always do something for your family member. Arthur and Daniel Zhu have created Live Freely. The website is livefreely.today. And they created Buddy, proactive aging. So it was with great gratitude and just appreciation. Dr. Arthur Zhu, we bring you to the stage, and I'm so honored and happy to finally meet you. Now we see face to face, ear to ear, and the next time when we're in Florida, we'll be face to face. Welcome, Arthur, to our Healthopedia Summit.
Well, thank you. It's great to be here, and greetings from sunny Silicon Valley. I guess we got both coasts represented today here.
Absolutely. So it was such a great idea with Jamie. She said, well, Arthur's an author. I said, well, we've got a few more pages, and we can always, this is going to be a massively large book anyway. We can always find time for a few more pages. So we went ahead and you are our authors, you and Daniel, in our bestitarian. Remember, I said yesterday, what is a bestitarian? Not a vegetarian, not a carnivarian. It's certainly not a frankenfooditarian or a pescatarian. It's not necessarily about food. It's about life, Like my quote, Arthur, I say, life is like a milkshake. Choose your ingredients wisely. And when you do, life will be so sweet. Being a bestitarian. That's a no coincidences thing with Buddy. You fit right into the bestitarian part. So in that segue into this, tell us your story of Buddy and proactive aging.
Well, thank you, Jody. And it's really a privilege to be affiliated with your book, Healthopedia. It's such a fabulous idea having a community of experts to come in and help people with their wellness. And it really, we thought, aligned with our mission, which we were trying to build community around wellness, vitality, and dignity of our aging population. And so we're just thrilled, pleased to be part of this whole project. Um, our story, really how this came to be, I remember it vividly. For me, it started on Valentine's Day, 2009, when my father and my mother, I was at their home and they were about to go to an annual dinner of an organization. They never missed it. And it was happening that evening. Then my dad all of a sudden felt tired and he told me, I'm going to go lie down, Arthur. You just take mom to the event and I'm just going to go rest. And I said, you never miss this event, Dad. So why don't you go get checked up? And he said, no, you just take mom before you're late. I'm just going to go lie down. And so we left. 2 hours later, we came home and I ran upstairs to see how he was doing. And he couldn't move. And in fact, he couldn't get up. We couldn't get him out of bed. So I remember, he was a big guy, trying to get him down the stairs into the car, get him to the hospital. And just to find out he was in the middle of having a stroke. And up to that time, I really didn't know a lot about stroke. And so that was sort of my first question was, how could I have known he was having a stroke sooner and got him the help that he needed sooner? That
Sure.
sometimes the after effects are preventable. So the doctors just told us, well, now we just have to let it ride out. So mom and I, we turned to each other and said, let's go home, get some toothbrush, toothpaste, and we'll go back and stay with him overnight at the hospital. So we went home, we walked in the door, and as we walked in the door, the phone rang, and mom picked it up, and it was dad on the other side of the phone yelling, help, help, help. And we wondered, why is he yelling help? He's in the hospital already. But mom, knew something was wrong. So she said, let's drop everything, let's go back. So we went back. Went into his hospital room to find out that he was on the floor. His gown had fallen off. He was still holding the phone, flailing around, trying to get up in the middle of having his stroke. And nobody in the hospital knew he had fallen. And this was a passage of quite a bit of time. And so that was sort of my second question was, how could I have known that had happened sooner and got him the help that he needed sooner? And so this really began a period of 7 years of caregiving for my father. And we went through everything. And at the time we thought we were alone, but really, we're not alone. There are millions of people who are going through this right now today and all kinds of experiences. I became an instant pharmacist overnight, trying to manage his medications. And as he declined, he had dementia and he was a sundowner. So we had, watch out for his wandering, and he was a wanderer. And so there were just all of these things that happened all at once, and it was life-changing for me. And mom passed away shortly after that. And then I was left as his caregiver, and I tried all kinds of things. We tried to get caregivers in to help him. And I remember one particular caregiver, I don't know what happened, but ended up burning down our kitchen, and the fire engine was out there, and he left my dad in the house. I had to run in to get my dad out. So it was just a really interesting.
Chaos.
Yeah. Dad ended up, all kinds of things. I could go on and on just about the whole experience, which I know those who are caregiving for their loved ones really understand that kind of an experience. It's crisis mode when, they're in that whole period of time. So after that, we took care of him for 7 years. Towards the end, my brother came and he helped me, Daniel. And that was a great relief and a help to me. And together we just tried to do everything we could to, we wanted to keep Dad at home and care for him at home. We knew that's what he wanted. And so he passed away 2016. And it was
So you did have him for a while. That's great.
And we were sitting there, my brother and I, saying, wow, what a learning experience this was. And we could have used a lot of help from a lot of technology that we didn't have and it wasn't available. And all of a sudden, we just kicked in the ideation mode, and my brother and I were writing things down on sticky tabs. I still have them, on things that we could have used. And he said, we're in the tech industry here. We're in Silicon Valley. We could make some of this stuff. Why don't we try it? And
You
so we
talk
did.
about the perfect storm, or Bernie Siegel will say, there are no coincidences. Here you are. Let's make something. We live in Silicon Valley. Perfect.
Yeah, and I had seen some studies and speakers talk about, in your moments of grieving and tremendous difficulty, they can be some of your most creative times of your lives if you
Yes.
allow it to. And that's what it became for us. Became a creative time in our lives, as we reflected about our father. We put some of these tools into a development. And over the next couple of years, they came to fruition. And then that's turned into what you mentioned earlier that Jamie was telling you about, Buddy, which
Buddy,
became.
you didn't know that, Buddy. We could have had. Well, I'm going to add these sticky notes to your collection of the text. Buddy, who's Buddy? Well, you know Buddy, and it was. It was
Yeah.
cute.
So we like to call it Buddy because we consider it a personal digital health assistant for seniors. And it works with smart wearables, so your Fitbit and your Apple Watch. It's an application that works with that. There's a lot of sensors in there, and it takes that. And the unique thing about it is it uses all the latest technology like AI, machine learning, and so forth. So it not only detects anomalies when they happen, it doesn't just detect a fall or detect incidences. It can actually be predictive of fall risk. And so it's a very
It's not
powerful.
after the fact. Say that again. That because that is something that's your real KPI. It's not I've fallen and I can't get up. That's been around, but this can predict it. Y'all get that? Say that again, Arthur.
Yes, it can predict and prevent issues from happening. So it can predict. It looks at your gait and so forth, and it can monitor when you become a fall risk. And so, and among other things, and it builds a baseline of your normal baseline health and wellness. And if you deviate significantly from that, it can give you an indication, hey, you should get checked up. And so it can it becomes more proactive, and that's where we got this term proactive aging from, helping people not just age in place, but take control of their own aging. And so that was our idea behind that, to give greater freedom, peace of mind, safety, independence to seniors, their loved ones, the whole caregiving community. And so, and that's not the only thing it did, not just falls, but med reminders that are easier than just press spreadsheets. You just take a picture of it and, it looks against an FDA database and says, if there are contraindications between meds. It's a very sophisticated, does boundary alerts for the wanderers. My dad, he had the dementia and was a wanderer. And we also send real-time data to 911. If an alert happens and it's not answered by a loved one in time, it can go to 911 and we can send the data directly to them. And so they know what's going on even before they arrive at a scene. So
Wow.
it's pretty
It's like
sophisticated.
you're a virtual limo driver.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, or GPS rather.
Right. So, we started packaging all of this functionality into what we call Buddy, and then we, tested it out, and it's in the marketplace. It's got a wonderful reception from folks. It's been well received, and even insurances and assisted living facilities are very interested in how this helps them lower costs and lower their risks and increase their patient outcomes. So it's been well received all around, and so we're just thrilled to be able to offer this to others. And in the middle of our professional lives, my brother and I, we needed these tools that weren't in existence. And so, there are millions, and just like you're influencing millions with Healthopedia, who need to look at their vitality, their wellness. We wanted to reach out and help as many people as we could through this so that they could have the dignity they deserve without breaking them financially or emotionally. And it's been a great journey. We just love this. It's been a labor of love for us, for my brother, for the whole team. And we're just so pleased to be part of that journey with you and right alongside with what you're doing to bless the lives of so many people through the community you're creating with Healthopedia.
And I know that this is just the beginning, because I know that, as I said yesterday with Suzanne Finder, obviously we have another page and a half in the book because of your resources, all your research that you did for Buddy and what you had in the article, which is great for any of you that are out there. You know, if you decide to purchase this for a loved one, if you got an organization, like one of our authors is the head of a senior living facility. I've told her about this. That is where it begins. That it's effective, it's affordable, and it has been researchable. All you got to do is buy the book and look at the resources that Dr. Arthur put behind that of all your studying. And I bet because it was a labor of love with you and Daniel, it flowed easily, didn't it?
Yes, it's just something that we knew we needed to do. And by the way, it wasn't just, myself and my brother. It takes a village to do something like this. And so
Yes.
we started finding many like-minded people that were going through those experiences or had experience with loved ones or friends of family or relatives that, and that helped to kind of inform what we were doing. And so they came on board and we built a great team. We have a terrific team working on this, and I can say all of them really have had an experience of one sort or another where they really understand the need for this, in this space. And it became in the beginning, we were wondering, gee, are seniors even going to want this, technology? And some seniors don't like it and so forth. But that conversation really changed during this COVID period where people needed to stay connected and needed ways to do that. And seniors said, you know what, we need the technology to do this. And so it's really become a non-issue these days. And it's really simple. They just need to put it on like they're wearing a watch, and the whole care, and that keeps them connected to the whole caregiving community. That and any loved one they want can receive alerts about their well-being from that.
So I have an idea, Arthur. I know that you said you're going to come in a couple of days early. It's going to be amazing to go ahead and have you partner with Dr. Jim Marinakis, my partner now. I can say my teacher and trainer has become my partner in Healthopedia Inc. and having Buddy and y'all be here for our summit in February. And you said, well, it looks like we're going to have a bit on a Buddy and our proactive aging and the Healthopedia Summit on the local ABC channel in Palm Beach. So I think you and I are going to have an additional date. And anybody that knows me, I think you have to fly into Orlando a few days early, because you know that I got some connections up here in Central Florida. I live 30 minutes from the villages. Come on now. They need to know about Buddy. These are active adults there that want to stay proactive. So I'm telling you, that's how networking works. Let's just do it together, and we will, with our passion and heart passion, absolutely make a difference. We will make a difference, and it's just so beautiful. I wanted to give you before I'll let you have some final words, but I think this Bernie bit, Dr. Bernie bits, as we're calling them, something to snack on. This is yours for you and Daniel. Arthur, you ready?
Okay.
We are here to help people survive, heal, and thrive. I bet you, Dr. Bernie, we could even get that to go on your website. Isn't that what you and Daniel have done? And I'm so grateful that we've just begun.
Absolutely. That is a perfect soundbite there. You're doing what we all need to do, move from reactiveness to proactiveness.
Yes.
And that's really what we're trying to do, right? And it takes a community to do that. The community, in the service of the one. And that's really what we thought is we need to build that community in the service. And that's what you're doing here through Healthopedia, all of your work building that community. It really uplift the one. And as we uplift the one, we all are uplifted together. So thank you.
John F. Kennedy said this, all boats rise. That was his famous quote. And who knows, maybe there's going to be a mascot out here for our events that will be a bestitarian Buddy. You never know what's out there for us. We have just begun. So Arthur, much honor, much appreciation for what you and Daniel done. That, because let me tell you something, you could have just stayed in. As Jason Estes said yesterday, he said, going through a situation, a tragedy, a diagnosis or something like this, you can stay in that, as he called it, that ripple effect, not, and it's like that potato chip. Ruffles have ridges, but you stay in those ridges and you don't get to the ripple effect on the other side. But it's people like you and Daniel that decided to push through, not to stay in your tragedy, but to make it something that's a reality, so you can celebrate life each and every day thinking this is in honor of your parents. So, Arthur, it's just really a pleasure to get to see you. Can't wait to meet you in person, and we can be on mutual stages throughout the country and the world.
Well, thank you. Thank you so much for having me today. And I just love what you're doing, and look forward to seeing you again soon.
And remember, check out that milkshake moment, because you have chosen your ingredients wisely. And I know that we've got a date for you to be on, and you and Daniel to be on my podcast, on my TV show with Traverse, here in about 3 weeks. Ciao for now.
Ciao. Thank you.
So as we move on to thinking about what we have here, Bestitarian Buddy, proactive aging. Before I bring up my next guest, I think that it's a perfect segue to go ahead and tell you about Boca, tell you about our calendar for 2024. Now, February, if you're up in the not so fun part of winter, like Boston, Dan Gilman, like New York, like Michigan, like Chicago, Florida is really great in February. Trust me, Boca Raton is one of the best. So mark your calendars for 2024. The 3-day Healthopedia, we will be doing a book launch summit, but it will be nothing like anything you've ever seen. You see, it starts February 22nd, 23rd, and 24th. Bernie Siegel said, there are no coincidences. Who knew that there would be a summit? I had told my husband last year when I turned 69, I said, I want to do something amazing for 7-0. We looked at a date, and after we inked the date with the Wyndham Hotel, y'all, I turned 70 the day before our summit. What a great way to usher in my 7th decade. So come and just celebrate with me. It's 3 days. It's going to be interactive. It's going to be intensive, as I said, but it's not going to be tense. Dr. Jim Marinakis teaches in an intensive way that you go inside of yourself and you feel yourself so you can be your better self. It will be healing empowerment. I was talking with Jason Estes and Jeremy Hoffman. I said, ever go to these summits and you're absolutely energized, but then you have to sleep for a week? And Jeremy said, or a month. I said, you millennials sleep for a month? And that's what we are going to change that trajectory, y'all. This is going to be someone that we're going to experience it together. It will be a health epiphany because you will be experiencing this with us along the way. Author, speakers, facilitators, experiential for 2.5 days. It will be at the Wyndham Hotel on Glades Road. The address, and you can put it up on the screen, gang. It's drjody.com/upcoming-events. For those of you listening to the podcast, it's the first organic restaurant that was east of the Mississippi. It's at 1650 Glades Road. All right. So I know you're thinking, so really, what do I get? Because money with inflation and food, you've got to just be aware of that. Dr. James Marinakis will be facilitating the event. I will be hosting it. And we will have many of the authors. And there are a couple that aren't listed on the speaker realm, such as Les Brown, Inner Circle. Karen Rudolph will be speaking. Dr. Michael Pierce will be doing his innovating weight loss that is amazing with our panel. 4 people that are in the Bestitarian part of the book have collectively lost 1,100 pounds. And they've kept it off. You want to hear how they've done it? Yes. So we're going to experience yoga every day, interactive participation, panel discussions, so much more. So let's talk about the ticket price. We might as well. That's just how it is. So I'd like to go, but how much does it cost? By the way, Dr. Jim Marinakis charges 300% more for one of his 2.5-day events than he does for this. So you can grab your early bird. It is, for this 3-day event, $13.95. Yes, $13.95, and that includes the VIP experience, having a reception with all of the authors, getting to pick their brains, getting a book signed by them as well, a Healthopedia book. The regular price for the 3-day event is $17.95. The VIP experience by itself is $500. Even $22.95. There are 3 authors that do this for a living. They're really on the international circuits. As Jody, you made this too affordable. I said, oh, call me a softie. But $13.95. This is amazing because it includes your food. Ever been to the grocery store lately? What does the grocery store cost you? Food is expensive, but this $13.95 for your VIP experience and your early bird price while supplies last. We only have 150 seats and then we're sold out. The advantage of being there first on the scene. Yes, you're going to have, and going to get this book and get your book and your download on the 26th. You're going to get alerted by the scan code. You're going to go ahead and get a picture of that right now. But what you can do is knowing that you're going to get one to give away if you've already purchased the book. That's great. But I have 2 books of my time with Ignite the Hunger in You, Les Brown. I have my hardcover copy that's autographed by Les. And then I have my softcover copy that I take around to show that, yes, I was in a book with Les Brown. Yes, 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 to give myself credibility. So that hardcover will be something that will be cherished. But check this out. When you go ahead and think about food, and all you've got to do is find your flight and find your hotel room. We have a block of hotel rooms as well. So everything is covered. But what will you get from this? As we say, when you leave, it is my desire that you will have a health epiphany like no others. Think about what the word epiphany means. It's birth. Even if you're an aficionado and you consider yourself level 10 with health, there's always more. There's always one more certification, as my next speaker author will attest to, Sue Kostick. There's always one more certification, one more summit, one more degree to get. But come and experience this because, as I said, it's a book. It's a live summit. We will be having, can you even imagine having the incomparable Rex Sikes on a computer doing a mastermind with him weekly? Yes. We will be doing weekly summits, online, virtual summits, yes, before we then have our next live summit endeavor. But what we're doing is live, weekly masterminds with the true experts in their field. So you can come in and go ahead and actually do the mastermind once a week, learn and apply what you've learned from Dr. Jim Marinakis and others in February. And then you will have a mastermind follow-up afterwards so that you can actually apply what you learned at the seminar. How many seminars have you ever been to and you've got it out there, but then you never get in there because you're not able to go ahead and apply what you've learned and you forgot it? No, we'll have the experience with the summit. Then we'll be able to weekly apply online what you've learned until the next time. I guarantee you, this is more than a book. It's more than a summit. It's more than another class. This is a movement. And I'm so grateful for Sue Kostick, who is our next speaker guest, and I'm bringing up next. She is an integrative health professional. She is a level 2 health coach. And thinking about, she's done this coming away from corporate America in only 5 years. She's an expert. She knows about those certifications. When I said that, I bet she's just laughing backstage. But she has done something that is truly remarkable. She has a story that is very identifiable with Kim Jacobs' story. She had tragedy. It had a happy ending, however. But she has turned what she's done in healthy coaching to really coin the phrase that you can just start with your next meal to create health. It's Symmetry Health Solutions. She lives out in Arizona with my bestie, Melanie Summers. I know they have collided in a great and a visceral kind of way that their energies have created. Since our word for today and our theme is gratitude, I will just say, Sue Kostick, I am so grateful that you said yes to coming on board with this book. I'm so yes, that one, yes, and happy yes, that I could say, Sue, that when we came in to that first group with Les Brown's coaching, I thought she's got to be in the book. And I wasn't even supposed to be on that coaching session. I thought I was still going to be on the road, and my flight came in earlier. As Bernie Siegel said, there are no coincidences. I am so happy that you were our 40th author to give us Symmetry, which is the name with your integrative health practitioner, health coaching title, that Symmetry Health Solutions, and that you wrote about health as well. Welcome to Healthopedia, our summit.
Thank you. I am beyond excited. And as we know, there are no coincidences.
No.
And it's as I was sitting backstage and listening to Kim Jacobs and then listening to Dr. Arthur, I was like, wow, I am in this spot, in this position for a reason, because I'm just going to really be able to tag right along on what Dr. Arthur was talking about in proactive health.
Yes.
Yeah.
And think about it, that this is are you ready for like double goosebumps? The thing behind the scenes with Healthopedia, the same day that Jamie connected me with Arthur and they said, we want to be part and put Buddy in proactive aging. That was the same day that she said, oh, I've just come from a certification and I have the 11, and I think we talked at pillars, but we've already had pillars. But I have the 11 pillars of a successful proactive longevity. Mm-hmm. I just came from the certification. And then it said, and we said, well, let's not call it a pillars. We just got it. It's essential. Thinking about us, me moving out of my 60s, you still in your 60s, they really are essential, aren't they?
Extremely essential. And as we enter our 50s is really when people start thinking, oh, I've got this ache, I've got this pain. And then we're told it's because we're getting older. And that's just a bunch of baloney. So, you know, if there's one thing that I could get the younger generation to understand, is what you do now is going to make it so much easier when you're our age.
Oh, that's such a much nicer way of saying it. I usually say what you do in your 20s and 30s and 40s will bite you in your butt in your 50s and 60s.
Yes, which is very true. It's very true. Proactive health seems like it's a very common thing that we're throwing around now as the world is becoming a little bit more holistic. And all of my certifications, you know, we keep talking, there's one more certification we can do. But the longevity one is the one that really has me going.
Mm-hmm. And I think that, you know, it's because you live in Arizona. I mean, Florida and Arizona, that's where there are more retirees than anything. The number one export out of our state is not oranges. It's corpses that go home. Okay. It's just the fact. They go back to New Jersey and Ohio and Michigan and everything else. But I just want to honor you for 1 minute before we get too much in philosophy and training, because I want to honor you from the standpoint you've had a very busy summer. We just met on the tail end and you said yes to our book. You could have said, no, I'm having another book that's coming out with Jim Britt here in a couple of weeks. You could have said, oh, no, I've got my plate full, but you said yes. Sue, why did you say yes when you could have said, no, I've already got enough going on? That's a really big deal. That says a lot about why you want to, you know, that she really does believe rich in health, mind, and spirit.
I do. And it's become such a burning passion for me. And it's such an important message because people think that being healthy is hard. And we've been given such a story that your health doesn't matter because then you can just go to a doctor and get a pill for every ill. but you cannot truly be wealthy in spirit and mind and body if you don't have your health. And we were all put on this planet for a reason. God placed everybody on this planet. They gave everybody a gift and a purpose. And you cannot walk in your purpose if you are worried about your health.
No.
It's an impossibility. And, you know, as you said, I came out of corporate America. This just, I said yes, basically in a nutshell, Jody, because this message must get out. And Healthopedia, I am so excited to have a different version of the PDR. Not that that's not a good one, but
now it's balanced. We have both.
Exactly.
Think about that.
And my whole Symmetry Health and Wellness, it's about balance. Your body cannot function if it is not balanced. I bring all of my clients back into balance. This is how we do it. It's not magic. It's just balance.
And so I really feel in my heart that I want the next 10 minutes. I really want Sue to be Unplugged Sue. As I've said after one of our classes with Les, this is Sue. How do you do? I just want our viewers and listeners to really, the next 10 minutes, let's just go and do Sue Unplugged. The stage is yours.
Thank you so much, Jody. I hope somebody's got a little timer for me because I could talk forever. I am so thankful that this book is coming out. It is necessary. Before I even start talking, I want to just really encourage everybody to get this book as something you keep handy, because you're going to revert back to it. And every single author has something to share in one of the different pillars that you're going to be able to take and just really use over and over again. So my story really begins about 12 years ago. Even though I've only been practicing for about 5, it really started 12 years ago. And I can still hear my husband's voice when he called me, and my voice shakes even just telling the story that my daughter was diagnosed with leukemia. And this diagnosis was arguably one of the biggest gut punches you will ever experience as a parent. But it's also one of those situations that you dive head first into helping your child get through this harrowing experience. And we run the race and we run the race, and we do everything that we can to help our loved one get through things. And we forget about ourselves, and we forget about the stress that we're under, and we forget about our health. And I have kind of a funny story. When my daughter, who had the leukemia when she was 16, she's great, she's thriving now. And she calls me and she's like, "Mom, the check engine light in my car just came on. What do I do?" And so, you're like, you turn off the engine, you unscrew the gas cap, you lay hands on the car, you pray over it, anything you can do, because that check engine light is the most annoying thing that's ever going to occur in your life. And I'm sure everyone can agree with me on this. But there is a funny statistic out there that says that 30% of us, when that check engine light goes on, we will race to the mechanic and we will figure it out and we will take care of it. So my friends, that means that there is 70% of us driving around, hoping, praying for the best, that when we get back in that car, that check engine light is not going to go on. Or it's just going to kind of stay yellow. It's not going to go into the levels, because I don't know if you know it, but that check engine light will eventually turn red, which means you're going to stop on the side of the road and have problems. But the whole point to my story about the check engine light is we have them. God has given us an internal check engine light. In fact, we have 3. We have our mental, we have our spiritual, and we have our physical. And I'm going to make a really bold assumption that there's some of us that just ignore those little signs, those annoying little symptoms, that there's something going on. And the story, again, it's not about automobiles. I'm talking about health. I'm talking about wellness and proactive wellness, just like Dr. Arthur was talking about. And when we are in a situation that we're under extreme amounts of pressure and stress, we're ignoring all sorts of check engine lights. And we're just trying to get through life. You know, my daughter's check engine light was on, and we were helping her get through that. But when she was going through her treatment, I ignored every single little check engine light that was going on in my life, because as a caretaker, you're going to dive in head first. You know, there's another saying that tells us that if you dive in to save a drowning man, the potential of you drowning is very possible. And I literally was drowning in neglect, in my own self-neglect. And I'm not saying that I should have done anything differently. I shouldn't have not cared for my daughter, and I shouldn't have done that. But if I had the tools that I have today while I was going through that process, I wouldn't have been in the situation I found myself in when she came off treatment and life started going normal again. I started deciding that I would pay attention to those lights that were going on in my life and got myself to the doctor. And I was pre-diabetic. I was 30 pounds heavier. I had high blood pressure. So my check engine light was really blaring. And as you read through my chapter in the book, you're going to find that there are things that you can do when you're walking through life. And I do help a lot of people get through situations with natural remedies and different protocols that are all natural. But when you're hit head on with life, you need to have something in your back pocket. You need the arsenal. That's why this Healthopedia is going to be great for everybody, because this could definitely be your arsenal. And you need to put on the armor. You need to be able to walk in mindfulness. And if I had understood the implications of what was going on with myself, it wouldn't have taken me as long to get where I am today. And actually, as Kim and both Dr. Arthur have said, that through tragedy, you find purpose. And I did. I found my purpose. I found integrative health. I got healthy. My daughter, I got her healthy again after the effects of 3 years of chemotherapy and steroids had just really wrecked just about every system of her body. And so now I help people. And through the book, you're going to find that there's so many different things that you can go back to and read about. And one of the things I'd like to share with everybody right now is there's really 8 things that you can do. And I'm going to briefly touch on each one, and you'll have to read the book if you want to get more detail. So it's really called the De-Stress Protocol. And it was developed by the doctor that I've gotten all my certifications from. And it's a simple protocol that you can follow, and it's a roadmap. You watch your diet, you make sure you exercise and you move, you manage your stress. Stress is a biggie. I could spend hours talking about stress. You remove toxicity from your household, from the environment that you live in. You rest. I talk to a lot of entrepreneurs, and rest is not in their vocabulary. Rest is so important. Your emotions, how we handle our emotions. There's a whole section in this book that just targets emotions. Supplementation. We need to supplement now. I put a lot of strategies in my chapter in the book on different supplementation that can just really make things a lot easier for you. And lastly, there's the success mindset. Mind matters. And Rex spoke about it in his talk. The mind is such a powerful thing. And as I was sitting there in the hospital room with my daughter, if I had let my mind go to those awful dark places, I would have gone mad. I would have just really, they would have had to put me in the loony bin. But our mind matters. And I focus on success mindset a lot, because a lot of people that I do work with are entrepreneurs. And if you're going to have that overall balance and that symmetry in your life, it's so important to make sure that you're focusing on these 8 key elements and balance them all. I can talk some more, Jody, or if you want to come back on, we can do some questions and answers. Or you're muted.
That was a first for today, because guess what I was doing? I was doing my supplementation for the afternoon, because it's been, we are in 2 of 3 days. So that's why I always say with supplementation, it's like Aflac. It's that like the duck, because you need that supplementation. No one gets it from their food. So that's what I was doing. I was on. So I was doing a walk the talk, but I guess I would like to ask you one question, because you're, by the way, your timing was perfect. So what else is new? That's you. And you can hear a whole lot more if you go back to, remember I said yesterday, I said last week, Karen Rudolph and Sue Kostick were my guests on Life's Milkshake Moments. And I had more viewership that said, you guys must really know each other. And I said, we've never met each other. It's just that we're connected. It's that energetic Aka cord. We've had our own umbilical cord. We have been birthing this for the 40 years since my son was 4 years old. And I stood knocking on Hulda Clark's door. Don't you think?
Yeah. Oh, it has been, because I think I shared with you too, my mother, when I was in middle school in the 70s, my mother was a pioneer in cutting out sugar and flour, and she would sneak bran and sneak it in our sandwiches, and we would roll our eyes at her. But this whole movement, I say I feel like an Israelite that has been wandering in the desert for 40 years, and I am finally at the promised land. And it's so rich. And Jody, you came into my life. We weren't expecting each other, were we?
No, no, we weren't. But guess what? Some birthing, and sometimes women say, I didn't expect to be pregnant. Well, we didn't expect to birth this thing together. And I love your quote. And we'll end with this for real. When you said everything is figure outable. And by the way, I did editorial license, because that is a word that's going to get all the way around. You know why? I'm kind of a wordsmith. You can kind of think. So we took figure outable, because when you figure it out, it goes out of you. True or true?
I love that.
Okay.
I love that. Okay,
that's a freebie for today. Okay. Figure outable. Let's just get it out of there. You figured it out because you've gone through that translation. You've gone and done what Jason said yesterday, and Jason Estes. And so, that will make us all, that place of being figure outable. So what are the last, I'd say let's take 2 or 3 minutes. We're having some technical difficulties. So let's just have a little bit of a conversation if we can. And it's very interesting that we've had more technical issues with StreamYard today. And I believe it was because gratitude has a certain frequency. And there's going to be things that are going to come back in that people aren't going to want to check their engine light. They're not going to, as I call it, tap on the shoulder. And I've gotten a couple of comments on my social media from people that have known me for a long time, because I've done this for a couple of years. And they said, I'm surprised that you check this one out. You're going to love this. Talk about gratitude, abundance mindset. Since you're in the financial pillar, the health as well. I'm surprised that you brought in so many health coaches into your book, into your field. And you know what I said to each one of them? Why not?
Yeah.
There are 8 billion people in the world. Okay. 99% of them need us. Guess what? I can't get around to all those. So there you go.
And there's too much competition, perceived competition.
Yes.
And it's like we all approach it a little bit differently, and there's learning. You know stuff I don't know, and I know stuff you don't know, and
we bring it together. We have a whole.
you bring all these people together, and my gosh, you know, if someone were to come to you and me and Dr. Arthur and Rex and Jim, they would be spending hundreds of thousands of dollars.
Oh, yes. Oh,
So
yeah.
get this book, because this is like free medicine.
Give them the summit so they really know how to apply it.
Right.
Give people the mastermind so they can walk in it the rest of their lives.
Yeah.
Ooh, you like that? I
I
like
love
that.
it. I love
Yeah.
it. I love it. Florida
Uh-huh.
is going to be rich. Boca, it's going to
Yes.
be rich. It's
And I've always said the first time I went down to Boca Raton and I saw this was way back in the early 90s where there weren't as many HOAs and everything kind of looked the same. And I said, I think people who live there think that it's the center of the universe. And I told Dr. Jim that because when I first met him, I said, that was my first impression. He said, and those that live here, especially in the healing world, think that it does and is. So
there's places in the universe that have a little extra something.
yes,
there truly is. So
and I will say, check Sue out at Simmerty Health and Wellness. I think we've got things up and working here. There's no other person that I would just assume on planet Earth that I would want to do another segue. We'll just say this is part of our summit segue with Sue, but you can't leave yet because I haven't given you your Bernie bit, something to snack on.
Yes, please.
Creating wellness is a direct reflection, according to Bernie Siegel, of believing in your own self-worth. And those quotes are public domain. You can just put it on your website. Dr. Bernie said,
that's amazing, because true self-love is taking care of yourself.
Yes.
Because you cannot take care of anybody else unless you take care of yourself.
Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. And I would just say, I'm so happy that all the while your mother was supplementing over here and my mother was doing her organic garden and told the people that were spraying the trees in the alley in Montana, you can spray the mosquitoes everywhere but here. And I'm sure it still went over, but she was proactively thinking about that.
Yes.
I'm so glad that those two mothers with their aqua cords brought our energetic aqua cord.
Isn't that crazy? They're probably holding hands in heaven right now.
Exactly. Energetically, I will say we have that aqua cord energy, and I'm so grateful for you.
Thank
and
you.
what we are going to do together.
Yes.
Ciao.
Yes. Bye.
So let's go and just check out as we are moving through our technical issues here. We've got this. I would say let's check out from what better thing to check out right now is Confidence Tones. Confidence Tones is our next wonderful sponsor. I will say I've had just a privilege to go ahead and bring much of the content with this. Brain immersion will give you a feeling of attitude of gratitude unlike anything else. Have trauma in your life? The 21-day program. We know about the 21 days to your best you now, don't we? Because you can energetically heal in 21 days. That's one of the programs of Confidence Tones and many, many more. Let's take a look, take a listen to Confidence Tones. feel better, do better, and you will be better with proactively everything that we've been learning here. So we're going to go ahead and take a whirl. I hope that it works. We may just see a beautiful white screen from Cynthia Hamilton. I can, trust me, I'm hoping that her audio is there, because you've got to feel her energy. And she's just a beautiful human soul. Cynthia wrote in the emotional pillar, Cynthia is an esthetician, a friend of a friend of a friend. Sometimes that friend is your sister. I want to publicly thank my sister, Kathleen Heller. When she knew that yet her baby sister was doing another book, she said, I have somebody that's been wanting to write for years. So guess what? She is now. Cynthia Hamilton Knipe is not only an esthetician, she is an iridologist, but she's a vocal musician. And you can see in our book, you can see a beautiful picture of her and her fingers on her piano. Music is soulful for Cynthia. And I hope that if I bring her up, that it's going to work. And I'm going to add you to the stage, even though it's white. We're just going to have a dark screen until we can see you. Cynthia, say something so that I know that you're here. I hope you're here. Nope. Well, it's not working to that. So I'm going to say, backstage production crew, let's go to our commercial break with Live Freely, and then go into Healthopedia, and you can hear about our event. Thank you.
Aging seniors face a variety of challenges when it comes to their health and well-being. Now, there's a way to take control of aging. Meet Buddy, your personal health assistant. Buddy is a cutting-edge digital health solution that empowers seniors and their caregivers to be proactive in aging. The platform works on smartwatches worn by the senior and paired to their phone. Buddy automatically detects, predicts, and prevents falls. If a fall is detected, your loved one's watch will vibrate and display fall detected, I'm okay, or help me. At the same time, an alert is sent to the caregiver and a 5-minute countdown begins. If the alert is not addressed within the 5 minutes, Buddy will automatically connect to 911. Many times, a loved one is prescribed a walker or cane when they become a fall risk. Through Bluetooth and gamification, Buddy encourages the use of assistive walking devices by providing points that can be converted to gift cards. Buddy also reminds your loved ones to take their medications on time. One of its most innovative features, Buddy uses all the data it collects to create a personalized baseline and measures deviations to alert of potential health issues. Gain greater connectedness, peace of mind, independence, and security through Buddy, your personal health assistant. To learn more, visit www.buddylife.com.
While being mentored and studying with the iconic pioneer in natural healer, Dr. Hulda Clark, and experiencing her life-changing practices and protocols, a goal card was written and dated in 1984 stated, I will write the Eastern medical version of the PDR, Physician's Desk reference. The universe delivered a sign to actualize this goal. Now in 2023, we are experiencing vision and mission into fruition. Healthopedia has arrived, led by the iconic 20th and 21st century icon, Dr. Bernie Siegel, MD, author of Love, Medicine, and Miracles, along with 42 extraordinary healing world changers that will motivate, educate, inspire, and propel you along your own path to wholeness, wellness, and abundance. Every compelling story will uplift you to your own epiphany of health isn't something you do, it's what you become along life's journey.
Shannon Roper, board-certified family nurse practitioner, CEO, and founder of Roper's Health Oasis, located in beautiful Carlsbad, New Mexico. Shannon took her vision of true holistic healthcare to promote wellness instead of illness and show you how you can live between office visits, as Dr. Bernie Siegel says. She has your best interest as a priority and incorporates the 6 pillars of health into each day. Join Shannon along with the other 39 authors as she elevates Healthopedia and creates a real health oasis for you and your life.
The main reason I believe people's health is declining globally is because they don't do the things every day that they need to maintain themselves. They don't walk enough, they don't get enough nutrients, they accumulate way too much stress. They don't expose themselves to nature. They work under artificial lights that damage the rods and cones of their eye, their brain, disturb functions of their liver. Everybody wants to be free from disease, and they want to enjoy a long and happy life. At the Personal Performance Institute, we teach you how to do exactly that. It starts right in the beginning. The very first things you'll do, which are simple instructions, will improve your health, and they will make you feel better about yourself. Not believe that you feel better about yourself, but actually feel better about yourself. That's what the Personal Performance Institute can do for you.
I am so excited about Gabe's Heart Foundation 5K walk. It's our 8th annual walk taking place on September 23rd, Saturday, September 23rd at 8 a.m. You can either walk virtually or in person. Go to gabesheartfoundation.org so you can register. You can donate any amount, and that gets you in to go ahead and register and walk. And if you want a t-shirt, then definitely order it right at gabesheartfoundation.org. I just want to thank Mr. Boatwright and Zach Boatwright and all of my neighbors, my previous neighbors that go to great extremes to keep up this beautiful memorial garden in honor of my son, Gabriel Michael Jacobs. And they don't have to do this, but for them to go to this extreme with this level of beauty is something that I will cherish forever. So listen, everybody, take a moment. Go to gabesheartfoundation.org and let's get ready to have a memorial walk that's going to educate people about sudden cardiac arrest in pediatric youth. We don't want any child to have to lose their life on this earth because of something that could be surgically corrected. So go to gabesheartfoundation.org now. Look forward to seeing you Saturday, September 23rd at 8 a.m.
That beautiful sun. And just to know that there's something very, very special that we're going to be doing for people that contribute on a monthly basis to Healthopedia, our channel on Traverse TV. For those of you that are contributors, September and October, your fees are going to not only fund this mission of those portable defibrillators to Gabe's Heart Foundation, but the other portion is going to Maui Strong. Maui Strong, what is that? We know that they have got to be strong. I know what we did with Hurricane Ian last year, but that's a pittance than that fire that just eviscerated that beautiful island. So we have a connection through Dame Doria Cordova that all, just like Kim Jacobs, all of these funds go to this charitable organization. All of these funds for Maui Strong are going through hawaiifirst.org with activist Bumpy Kanalehe. Doesn't he sound like he's a native Hawaiian? got the connection through Dame Doria Cordova, who will be speaking tomorrow. And so Dame Doria Cordova said he is absolutely will be doing amazing things with your funds. We want to make sure they get to the right people, because good people do good things with their money. And that's what we're going to be doing with our book. When you go ahead and get your activation with your scan code, go ahead and get notification. It's coming out Tuesday on the 26th. We know on that day that you'll get a notification. Go buy the book, buy one for yourself, one for a friend who absolutely just needs to go ahead and be there and wants to keep reading it and doesn't want to give it back to you. And also get the download. A portion of those proceeds are coming to what we know they're coming to both of these fine organizations. So I see Rob backstage, but Kathy, I'm going to bring you up and I'm going to say, once again, my dear, hello, hello. This is the editor-in-chief, the woman that you heard, the creationaire behind what we did with our book. That is absolutely, we got it back, and in such a beautiful fashion. What we were able to do is get it back on track, and it's more beautiful than ever. Kathy, what would you say the gratitude factor and what we've created with Healthopedia? How is this in concert? How does it make sense to you?
Oh, the gratitude is off the charts. First of all, just, working on the document itself and seeing, reading, I mean, the way that going through it was very, very quickly. So I didn't read everything in depth, but going through it very quickly and seeing all of the bits and pieces about everybody's story and about how especially the action steps, the intentions, and the power quotes. Those are just absolutely so important. Those are really, I mean, if you want to get the highlights, that's where everything is. And the gratitude is just, I'm beyond grateful to be a part of this project and, being called editor and chief art director and chief for this whole thing.
You have, and you've been such a chief to work with, because I will just say, we say in my field that inflammation is the number one cause of all disease, but actually what causes inflammation is stress.
Oh, yeah.
And stress, comes when you have unexpected things. We had unexpected things, didn't we, with this? It was a really big deal what we had to do. And really it started the 1st of August. We were on track. And then I went for a vacation with my grandkids and I said, what just happened? But when and this is a real great Healthopedia piece that of everything, when you can go ahead and have that stress. And yes, we did have a little imbibement the other day just to get through that. And it was, and we said, we're going to toast this because in the morning it's going to be better, because we had an attitude.
And this is water.
Yes.
Water with lemon.
And yes, so is this, but it is pink. Frankly, that's what gratitude, when you can remember gratitude, as Rex Sikes says, how you can remember the 25 things and be excited about it. The fine 25 to favor. 25 are fine to savor your life in gratitude. It will take care of the stress. And I really believe that we just kind of had some humor and laughed through it. And after that, I think everything was great. And so thank you. Thank you for getting us through, as Jason Estes talks in his chapter. There are ridges to get through, not just, and we're not talking about the potato chips. There are ridges in life. Thank you for helping us get through this ridge in life. I just got a notification from our ebook master, and guess what? It's going to be done tonight, not Friday morning. It's going to be done tonight. It will be downloaded. It will be only, ladies and gentlemen, get your free download only for one day. So get in there, go ahead and get the ebook, read it for about 30 minutes, come back in, scroll on down where it says down the page, it has stars, and write an honest review. Now, we'd like it to be 5-star, but just write an honest review, and then we go from there. So, Kathy, I see that Rob is back. We've got something going on here, and then we'll just go through the next ridges and get through this in fine fashion. Thanks to you. That's just what you do.
Thank you. It's
Much
my
love.
it is absolutely my honor, my dear.
Yes, mutually. Namaste, as we say. And namaste is how we work through this. Yes, we've had a few internet issues. Yes, we've had a few Wi-Fi issues. Isn't that just life? Life's on you. How do you respond to it? Do you respond to it in stress and worry and angst, or do you does it feel like you just go through it in gratitude? When I bring Rob up, Rob Baird, I'm going to bring him up in a moment. His nickname is Santa. It's pretty astounding that I met him. I was having lifing on us. Our water faucet blew. Now it is, goodness gracious, 5 years ago. Has it been that long? Yes, Rob, it has. 5 years ago, our water faucet blew the day of Christmas. I ever done your Christmas dinner dishes in the bathtub? Well, we did. We certainly did. And frankly, we laughed through it. We had towels on the tile floor, whatever. But guess what? This man came from Angie's List the next day, a friend of a friend. The one we called couldn't be there. So he said somebody that could be there. And my husband, you've got to know Bob Baird. He knows that his wife has zero filter. And he said, my husband answered the door. He goes, okay, do not say the word when you answer the door. Just don't say it. You'll know what I'm talking about. I opened up the door. The man who was the plumber looked like Santa Claus. But then he handed me his card and it said, naughty or nice, I fix your plumbing. He'd used his white beard, what he does as his side gig. He had used it all along just to be a part of who he was and what he did. And so with this, I'm going to say, naughty or nice, Rob, I am so glad that you've been in our lives, both Bob and I, for the last 5 years. So, we've got you on the phone. Unless we couldn't get the computer going, we got you here. Welcome. I'm so happy that we can now say, naughty or nice, we fix your plumbing. Naughty or nice, I talk to you, your children. Naughty or nice, I go ahead and I speak life into you as a sermon. And naughty or nice, I wrote a chapter in a book and I'm international bestseller. Welcome, Rob. How does it feel?
I'm glad to be here. And we had some trials and tribulations and hiccups. And so now I'm on the phone instead of the computer, but I'm here. And
I'm glad that you're here. That's what you do. You just go through and you make things be better. So tell our audience a little bit about, I just left the story that you were standing at our door. Then how did we really meet and how did we really connect?
Well, I was working on the faucet and it was one of those that nothing went simple. And I had to run out to the hardware store and get some parts to make things adapt and work the way they were supposed to. In the process of all that, her husband, Bob, had said, would you like a cup of coffee? And I usually don't drink coffee during the day, but he said, well, it's a healthy cup of coffee. That kind of intrigued me. So I said, well, okay, I'll try that. And it was good coffee. And so then when I was all done, we talked a little bit, and Jody was not a doctor at the time, but she said, I'm a health coach. And my wife and I had been trying to lose weight and nothing was really working. And so we talked some, and then we met at a restaurant one evening and she met my wife and talked. And so we've been together ever since, through thick and thin, it seems.
Yes, it was. And now that's a very good word you just said. We've gone through from thick and thin. When you go into the bestitarian picture, and it's taken in our home, it was a fun thing to do. Oftentimes, both Nancy and Rob wear red. And I said, look at those shirts. You need to go and stop over at the mall on the way home. And they held out their shirts. Who knew that's a who knew moment. The controversial Bernie Siegel said there's no coincidences. Who knew that this picture of you and Nancy would be in our Bestitarian book, soon to be an international bestseller. I think, your story is one of overcoming, because the issues are in your tissues, without going deep, because they have to buy the book. How do you feel like the trauma that you had in life just precipitated your weight gain?
Well, I was working too hard, not eating right, eating a full meal whenever I got home, which could have been 8, 9, 10 o'clock. And so it just over time built up, and nothing I seemed to do would really change it much.
And because what did I say with Sue just a minute ago? It was, all right, you've got a situation where inflammation is the cause of all disease, but then the stress of working too hard will just precipitate the inflammation, and nothing you tried. So what and of course, without going into great detail, but I would love to know what you felt was different with our plan together, the three of us, than what you had. It was when you say nothing ever worked.
Well, I found out part of a little bit from the Y Institute that for me, things have to be simple and it has to make sense. And I didn't know that till just recently, but that's why diets and things didn't work, is because most of the time they're complicated and they really didn't make sense to me. And when we started talking and working together, we came up with a program that more or less made sense to me, and it wasn't a real chore. It turned out to be something that I could do, that I didn't have to actively change my whole life to do. I could work it in.
I remember when we met because, ladies and gentlemen, Rob lives in Central Florida. We live in Central Florida. So we collide many a time on US 441 and other places. And I remember sitting down with you and Nancy at dinner, and you said, that air fryer had changed my life. So you found a way through the ridges. You found a way through the ridge, and it's made all the difference in the world. Collectively, y'all have lost 180 pounds.
Something like that. Yeah.
Yeah. The two of them. So it's no small loss that Santa Claus now during Christmas has got to pat it with a pillow. And just looking at you now, that's really amazing. I would have seen a belly. I mean, I really would have seen a belly. And now it's a belly with no jelly. I just had to play on that. But what was that like, finding those transformational tidbits that actually worked?
Well, I started feeling better. That was a kind of a slow process, and my knees, when I lost the weight, they still hurt, but they don't hurt near like what they did. It's manageable, and once in a while, I still have to have a piece of carrot cake. But I found Publix sells a 4-layer slice of carrot cake, and I can eat one little slice. I don't eat all 4 pieces, so I can have a little bit, but I don't overdo it.
Exactly. That brings me to the next piece. Rob, this is your one Dr. Bernie bit. He said, life is uncertain. Eat dessert first, but just not that much. He added, just not that much, just for you and I. Isn't that true? Because life is precious. It's those things that makes all the difference. But you found, and yes, it did take you a while, but what do you hear me say? That you didn't get here overnight, so don't expect to get the other way
right
overnight. And when I see you move, and you've been instrumental in helping us get through this contractor issue, and through our contractor, what I want to call it, issue to completion in our home, to get back in our home, to our real home. And you absolutely, you never could have done this much. I know that when I met you 5 years ago, and you're 5 years older. Now that's a testimony now, isn't it?
Yes, I'll be 67 this year, and I still work every day, and I work most all day.
Yes. All day, every day. But you take those times because you've learned how to, as it's as Santa says. And by the way, you do need to thank Kathy Strauss personally, and give her some love, because half the time they put because it's your nickname, they put you in parentheses, which is not correct. Sometimes it's in double quotations, which is not correct. So we had to go to the single quote. So it was in there a lot, but we got it right. So I think this would be the time to say thank you, Kathy, for the little things. But the little things are what make all the difference. So looking at your quote here, you must do what is necessary to stay healthy. What have you found out that is the necessary part of that?
Well, the necessary is I eat more salads. It used to be I would throw the salad away and eat meat and potatoes. I don't eat any potatoes now, almost ever. Once in a while, I still cheat and have some, but it's rare.
But how can we have potatoes just to get? And I'm not giving away all my tricks either. But potatoes are eaten by themselves, and if it's the size of your palm, we've got this. But potatoes are one of those things that you eat by themselves. That's why I know you've gotten and kept this weight off, which is the thing I'm most proud of you about, because you've kept the weight off, because you do food combine well, and that has been the benefit,
Right.
hasn't it?
Right. Yeah. And I found mashed cauliflower.
There you go.
So 99% of the time, that's what I have. I was at a smorgasbord the other day, and they had real mashed potatoes.
Uh-huh.
I had a spoonful. I didn't have a plateful. I had a spoonful, and
There
not
we
even
go.
a spoon.
Portion control. I remember when you said, "Oh, how am I going to do that? How am I going to do that?" And you figured out a way. I mean, you did. You figured out a way to make it so that it was manageable. And Rob, I can truly say, I'd like to spend a couple of minutes before it looks like we do have the team backstage. See, it all works out. I can hear there are miracles every day. It all works out. So how, if somebody's out there said, but you don't know what I've been through. You don't know how many diets I've tried. You don't know. What kind of encouragement, since I know your why, is this a good time to give Dr. Gary Sanchez a big shout out?
Yes.
Dr. Gary Sanchez, ladies and gentlemen, of the Y Institute. Because Rob, you're kind of a steadiness kind of guy. You got excited about learning that. I mean, I got a text from you with 3 exclamation marks. When you know your why, your life, your what, and your how become clear. We had a seminar with Dr. Gary Sanchez, and I'll let you go ahead and go into that a little bit. We had a seminar that it was a deeply discounted seminar. Dr. Gary Sanchez just did that for our authors. And it was just so incredible. He right now is in a part of Portugal that there's no cell phone service. He's been there for 3 weeks with his wife. So we'll get him on the flip-flop and get him on with our women's edition with our next book. I know he said, I've got a wife and 2 daughters. I'm a perfect guest. But he did this hour-long workshop with us. And what kind of an impact I know it made on all the authors that did it. They said, now I know how to structure my story around it. What did it do for you, Rob?
Well, I'm going to be 67 the end of November. So I've spent my whole life doing stuff and not knowing why I do what I do the way I do it. And what I found out was that whatever I'm doing, it has to make sense. It has to not be complicated. It's got to make sense and be easy. And that I like to help people. Well, in my plumbing and home repair business, that's what I do. I make stuff as simple as I can, as easy as I can, and I help as many people as I can. And
yes, you do.
what that's why the diets didn't work, is because they weren't simple, they were complicated, they didn't make sense, at least to me. You know, they worked for some people, but they didn't work for me because it didn't make sense. So now, and I've always wanted to write, so now I had a chance to write, but I've been able to share what works for me with other people. And now I understand why I think the way I do, and why I work the way I do, and why when I look at a job, I go, this is crazy, let's go this way. And it makes it easier and simpler and looks better.
I tell you, and that to me, that's how you've used that why to do your weight loss. So let's just finish up with, what does it feel like when you can go ahead and say, I've kept this weight off, I'm 5 years older, I have more energy. What would you tell the person that said, but you don't, as I said, but you don't know my story. You don't know how I got there. I don't know that you know. What would you tell them and give them that encouragement?
Oh my. Well, when I was turning there 15, I upset a lawnmower and had it chop a gash in my arm and nick the ulnar nerve, which would have paralyzed my left hand. I've been in several car accidents. About 15 years ago or so, well, maybe not that long, 2015, 8 years ago, I was in an accident and rolled a pickup truck 4 times. I shouldn't have survived. I did. I survived, and I had a broken collarbone and the bones in my right arm broken. My right hand is still numb. So I can tell you what I've been through and how I got where I am. And I doubt that anybody else is going to be able to say, well, you know, I've been through worse than you. Well, maybe they have, but if you find what works for you and what makes sense to you, it'll work. And that's
Beautiful.
that's what I've tried to share in the book.
And that's what you really did share in the book. And Rob, I will say that there are people in your life that come in, that it's a reason, a season, a lifetime. You are a friend of Bob and I that will be here for a lifetime. And that's what you can go ahead. And if you want to find out how can I get a real gig with a real Santa Claus who has that kind of heart, just to get in touch with me. And it can even be through our toy. Just go ahead and put our IG account. We haven't done that today. We've got a great Instagram account that I want every viewer to go ahead and just go ahead and contact us on IG at Healthopedia 365. Why did I do 365? You need health every single day. That's health that lasts a lifetime, isn't it? That's health that, and what we're going to do with 40 authors, 52 weeks. Is there somebody that's in charge of that Healthopedia site that could give shine to each and every author, 1 per week through 6 pillars? And then we'll have little ancillary tips and tricks throughout. It's me. So you can get a hold of Rob through there. You can get a hold of any of our authors through health-a-pedia.com. Rob, thank you. Thank you. I want to give you one more Bernie tip, just because Santa needs as many as he needs. And this is truly you. Love and peace of mind do protect us. Dr. Bernie goes on and says, they allow us to overcome the problems that life hands us. So this is what I give you: love, I give you peace, and I will tell you thank you for being in our world, and thank you for being a part of Healthopedia. Ciao for now.
Thank you for having me.
Yes, and I'm glad that we had you. And congratulations for your Chamber of Commerce for doing the soundbite there. You've got a fan club. You should. Every Santa needs a fan club. Much love. And now we can have our scan code. Yes, our scan code, which says, make sure you scan this to get alert about our book on the 26th, Tuesday. It's when our Healthopedia has now arrived on your Kindle, on your electronic device, and the next day will arrive on your phone. So it's amazing having Cynthia in my life. It's amazing having a great sister that actually gives you, what can I say? Great lead. She's done this before because she's a great sis. But it is my pleasure to bring on stage, as I've already introduced her before, Cynthia Hamel-Knipe. I'm so glad that we got it together, that you can be here. Just tilt it, Cynthia, you're on live. Tilt it a little bit up. I'm seeing your screen. Tilt it a little bit down, dear.
Okay.
Now you're sideways. Now it goes away. Who knew? I'm going to let her come back. We're going to go ahead and just go forward with my dearest Dr. Nefertina. She is here because we do need to keep on track, and that's what we need to do. So if that's the case, and I'm not sure what Cynthia's going to get her camera correct. Just keep it steady, Cynthia, if you're listening to this, whoever's helping you. But Dr. Nefertina came in my life through Kim Jacobs. And she knew I was doing this anthology. I just said to Kim the same way, I just want the right people. I want the right people that can be here doing the right things in our book, because I know that this is more than a book. It's a movement. Next thing you know, I was getting my AC fixed, and I had this conversation with Dr. Nefertina Serrano for the entire time that they were fixing my air conditioning at Pep Boys. Will always be known as the Pep Boys conversation. And the guys, when they said, your vehicle is ready, they said, you talked to one person the whole time, didn't you? Who does that? Was it a family member? I said, well, she is now. And that's what I feel about Dr. Nefertina Serrano is an ambassador. She does work in marriage. She and her husband have an amazing TV show because they mission critical to the social confines of being a ministry in marriage. The TV show is on 7:00 on Thursdays. You can find the Serrano show, but now you're going to find Dr. Nefertina right by my side. Welcome to Healthopedia. My goodness, there you are. Where did you go? There we go. There we go. Hey, Dr. Nefertina, this has been a kind of an interesting IT day. Can you, you need to unmute, and then let's go. I think if you can just unmute your screen. There we go.
I'm right here. Hello.
Hello. Yeah, there's a little bit of a delay
everyone.
today. Yes, but there is a little bit of the delay, dear. So let's just, it looks like you've got internet issues, and certainly that's not something that somebody who has a TV show, but let's just go and we hear your beautiful voice.
I can't hear you, Judy.
Oh my goodness. No, you've got internet issues. I will just say, I'm going to bring you down.
I'm muted.
Yeah, but
I can hear you, but you're going in and out.
And it's because you, my dear, are going in and out. I think that there are issues with StreamYard. So I see Dr. Nefertina, that Cynthia Hamel-Knipe is on board. So I'm going to remove you, see whether we can't get this up and running, and then we'll come back to you. So give it a whirl, and I know that Kathy will handle that with you going in and out. Thanks, hon.
Okay.
Thanks so much. So Cynthia, let's give this third time is a charm. Just don't move that phone.
Gotcha.
Now you've got another device up. You've got to eliminate the echo.
Yeah, I'm gonna eliminate this. Yeah, let me get out of this. Okay, we're good. Now I'm just on my phone.
I see your little thumb I don't want to
Oh,
see your thumb in the screen or your arm. Let's not do that.
yeah.
There we go. Dale it down. I want to point it a little back up so we can see you. That would be great. There.
How's that?
Oh, that is beautiful. Cynthia, I knew. This is kind of like your title. It says music just it moves your heart. We have to think with our heart. We had to really think with our heart to get a healer on this IT today, didn't we?
Absolutely. This is crazy.
You know, and we've got a shorter amount of time than what we would have, but we'll get this done. Okay, so Cynthia, thank you for saying yes. If you want an elongated story, Cynthia was my guest on Mindset Mondays 2 weeks ago. Go look at on it's posted live on my YouTube channel at Dr. Jody. I thought I'd make it easy. Why did you say yes to this? Why did you say yes to being in the book?
Well, I have been thinking for a long time that there are things I wanted to write, and that I have such a passion, as I know you do, as your sister Kathleen does, for music. And for me, this was a way of expressing more of my knowledge that I have gained over the past, oh my God, 60 plus years, let's just say, in being in music. And so I've taught for many years. I performed for many years. I just felt like I needed to take the next step. I needed to make sure that I could tell the world how important music is in all of our lives, and blend the Eastern philosophy with the Western philosophy, and go into frequency and harmony and what it does to heal our souls. Because music is so important in every part of our life.
Yes, it is. And I can truly say that the way you've written about music, you know that it is your passion. The way your story just absolutely emanates this with your stories. Let's just pick out one, because guess what? If they want more, they've got to buy the book.
That's right.
So give us one story about how music was a healer, would you please?
Well, as a child, and actually throughout my life, you were talking with Jerry a bit about health challenges. I have always had issues with my weight. So by singing, it was a part of me that always overshadowed everything else that was going on in my life. When I felt bad, if I got bullied, it didn't matter. I just went and sang, and nobody had my voice. I was very blessed, and it just made me more confident, made me probably more compassionate, and gave me the strength to carry on and pursue my dreams regardless.
And frankly, I think the conversation we're going to have after this. If there's been 1 million pounds of toxic fat lost, there are no coincidences, as Bernie Siegel says, that you found this tribe and everything else. Because if it's I have this saying. Somebody said, the other day, but I've got 30 pounds to lose. I said, are you kidding? I do that one in my sleep. So that's what is so beautiful, that there are no more issues. This is, I've got two for you, because I know you've kind of been through it with getting your internet connection working, whatever. Dr. Bernie Siegel said, for women, it's more than hormones, it's attitude. So there you go. And your attitude has always been one of upbeat. I want to give you the gold star from the teacher that you were first to get it downloaded. That's when I thought, Cynthia's having problems. Oh, no. Cynthia does her thing correctly. But what I'm saying is that it's just been such an honor to see you, how you blossomed with your story, how you went into the story of music, and that frequency, because you know that gratitude, maybe you know this, gratitude and music have the same frequency. It's
Yes.
that same frequency. So no wonder today was your day to be on it. So if somebody was saying to you, how do I use music in my everyday life to feel that healing? And I need that. Cynthia, what advice would you give them?
I would say to listen to whatever music makes you feel good. That could be different music for every person, but it just needs to make you feel good. You have to feel the vibration of the music through your body. You know, I have lots of people who say, well, gee, I just like to sing in the shower. And I said, doesn't matter where you sing, doesn't matter who hears you or who doesn't. What matters is how you feel it inside your body. That's what matters.
Absolutely. I remember when I would need a lift after my husband left my sons and I if I needed to get going in the morning, what I would turn on, and I'm telling a little secret to myself. I would put my high heels on in my living room. I would turn up Tina Turner. I'd sing the whole thing. All of a sudden, I felt I did feel simply the best because of that music.
Absolutely. And you were simply the best because of that music, because you infused it into your heart and soul. And all of a sudden, it actually released and raised your endorphin count that comes out of the brain.
Yes.
And all of a sudden, you're in a whole different state.
Yes.
You know, people who suffer depression need to find music, because you can do everything you want to do with music. It just releases so many wonderful things into your soul, into your body, that just change your entire attitude.
And I remember when you were talking about frequency with people that have disabilities, that you can feel the frequency. I remember sitting and having a conversation with Beverly Sills, who you know very well.
Oh, yes.
Okay. And Beverly Sills' daughter was deaf, and how she felt that this infusion into her soul or into her mother's music is that she would feel the vibration close. And that, y'all, I'm 69 3/4, going to be 70. So we had those vinyls, and the CD would not work at this point, but I'm sure there's a way technologically that they figured out. And if they haven't, guess what?
Maybe we do.
Maybe we do. We'll just have to ask Arthur and Daniel Zhu of Proactive Aging and Buddy out in that Silicon Valley. They'll figure it out. But I remember Beverly saying that her daughter would just be on the table next to the stereo, and she would feel the vibration, and she would just smile, and she would say, "Mommy, I hear you."
So I actually have taught 2 deaf people
Wow.
to sing. Now, they were okay with hearing aids. The one really wanted to sing in her high school production. And so I started with her right before she hit high school. By the time she was a senior, she had the lead. She was amazing. And she learned how to feel what she was singing. She learned how to place, and with her hearing aids, she had pretty good acuity. And so I always think back to there are disabilities, but it's what you do with them that counts.
Yes. And that disability, just like other things, such as, I would say, with what Jason said. Jason, I hope you're listening to this, because we've referred to you many a times that, and as Melanie said, disabilities are as different as the universe. Music can heal. It will infuse in your soul. So what I will say, my last Bernie bit for you, is that truly, I said, Bernie, what do you really feel like Healthopedia will give to people? And this is the first time I've said it at our summit. Are you ready?
Yeah, I'm ready.
He said it's a prescription for living.
Very well said.
Yes. Yes. So what is this final word that you would have, Cynthia, about a prescription for living that comes to your heart?
Embrace each day with love, hope, and gratitude. Find what speaks to your heart and your soul and play it, sing it, enjoy it, and be grateful for all the wonderful things that there are.
And the wonderful thing that is in front of me is Cynthia Hamel-Knight. Thank you for coming into our lives. Thank you for being part of this, as Dr. Bernie said, a prescription for living. Much love.
Thank you.
Ciao for now. See you Tuesday.
All righty.
Glad we made it work, honey. Bye-bye. And guess what? See, there are no coincidences. It always all works out as perfectly timed. Dr. Nefertina is back. She's got her green screen. Girlfriend, I am ready for us to do our deal. Are you there? Speak to me.
I am here. Hello and good afternoon. How are you?
I am really, really just feeling blessed because I see your beautiful face and your beautiful body in front of Healthopedia, standing strong and tall. Boy, we've come a long way from that Pet Boys conversation, haven't we? And I'm so grateful that you said yes.
My goodness. Yes, absolutely. We're finally here. And I am just super excited about that.
And so Dr. Nefertina, you just didn't even hesitate when I asked you to be a part. I knew if Kim Jacobs sent me somebody, it was preordained. That was a given. But why did you just said, yeah, it's I'm there. Uh-oh. You went on mute. Unmute yourself, hon. You got to unmute yourself.
Can you hear me?
There you go. Yeah. So start that again. Somehow you just went on mute. Okay, so why did you immediately say yes?
Absolutely. I mean, there was no other answer but yes for this project, because I'm all about health and wellness. It's all about me also being health, understanding that without health, what is anything else worth it? You got to have good health. And I'm on my own health and wellness journey, and it just seemed like the right time, the right moment, and the right project.
And you are the right woman. And I want you to just put a plug in for yours and your husband's show that airs on Thursday nights, so we can perhaps put it up on a banner. What is it exactly? Give the right name. I think you've changed it to the Serrano Show, but I wanted to make sure.
It is the Serrano Show, and we are on a mission to helping 1 million couples and families rise up from all the devastation of what causes relationships to just degrade and do bad. We want them to just know that we're there for them. We're like the midwives to marriages. We walk alongside you in this journey, and we let our singles know we haven't forgotten you, because we understand that in finding relationship and being the right one, it takes a lot. And so we're there to help you in that thing called communication as it relates to relationship.
And that is why Dr. Nefertina could have been in the spiritual realm, many other places that you could have been, but I put you in the social realm. It just made us sense, because marriages are not even surviving oftentimes. I read a statistic. They said now it's down to 6 years. Y'all, I mean, Nefertina, girl, I've been with my radio show host longer than that. We've been together 11 years. That's twice a marriage. So you are so busy. You could have said no. You are an ambassador. We're going to do something with Her Royal Highness soon, our princess. I don't want to butcher her name, Agulana.
Yes, Princess Maradian Agulana from Nigeria.
So I did do it right. Yay, yes.
Yeah.
And I know she's going to be a part of our next book, being in the women's essence It's going to be women's health. And you talk about a journey about, just give one snippet, because you got to buy the book. You know what the drill is. Give us a little bit of an inspiration. I say for the next 10 minutes, we're good. We're good on this now. We caught up, because guess what? This is like another Dr. Bernie book. I don't know how that happens, but he says, and I'm going to use a different word because I call him by a different name. He said, our Savior knows where. Have you ever said, where in the world did that come from? Well, we know because he said, I believe in miracles. I believe in miracles. So, Dr. Nefertina, for the next 10 minutes, it is yours. Just give us who you are, because it's amazing, please.
Yeah, so I am Dr. Nefertina Serrano, Ambassador United States. I am super excited. My life is surrounded by giving, and so if you know me, you know that I am a giver. That is who I am. That is what I do. I believe that in living in this life, we have to be the one and understand who we are. So it's not just about having a dream, it's about understanding that you are the dream. And so in that, understanding that as a life coach, as a writer, as an inspirator and a motivator and a minister of the word, I just want you to know that you are not alone in this journey called life. We are right here to walk alongside you, to be with you, and to know that, you know what, when you're going through your darkest times and your deepest, darkest hours, and you think that no one knows, no one understands, God understands and he knows. And so my inspiration has always come from my foundation, which is my Christian foundation, and understanding that God is first and foremost in my life, because without him, I know that I could not do the things that I've been able to do. So right here, right now, this is our moment today, because tomorrow is, guess what? Not promised to any of us. We don't know what tomorrow brings. So we need to be mindful of who we are and where we are in this moment. Learn to breathe and just take it in and live in the moment of life, because it goes by so fast. It is like a vapor. And though that's not directly what my chapter is about as it pertains to Healthopedia, it is what it's about. Because if we don't live in the moment, life will pass us by. We have to do what Dr. Les Brown says, which is live full and die empty. We must understand, that's probably one of the number one quotes out there in America today. Because I believe in this last pandemic, people are understanding that life is not promised. Life is short. And so in my book, in the Healthopedia book, in my chapter, I share with you the journey of my youngest brother, who was a kidney renal transplant recipient, who died during the pandemic. And during that time, it was a devastating moment for me, for my family, for my husband and I, because he was 20 years younger than me. And basically, he was like my baby. And so in him passing, I had to come to an understanding that, oh my goodness, this young man, he wasn't just a brother, he was more like a son. When you lose a loved one so suddenly that you don't even have a chance, an opportunity to breathe, it is devastating. My world almost crumbled. But then I heard that inner voice that said, rise up from the ashes, you rise. And in that moment, I was able to regather myself, to breathe through that moment and understand that I wasn't alone. I may have been in that room alone when I heard that wonderful voice. I may have been thinking that I was alone, but God showed me, you're not alone. I've always been there. And even in this moment, I'm going to see you through. When I was diagnosed with diabetes in 2017, I began to fight a fight that I had no idea, realizing that it was coming from a generational standpoint. My mother had it, my father's mother, my father's father. Listen, some things we inherit, but we don't have to keep, right? We still have the power to say, not me, Not on my watch. I reject it. I will not live that way. And then we can rise up and move forward and make sure that we do not live in that way. So I am so thankful and grateful to be a part of this wonderful book with these amazing men and women. I tell you, just writing this chapter was therapeutic for me because it began to allow me to see generationally what I had the power to do, which is break that curse and move forward so that I could live life full and happy and abundance and wealth and in health. And that's what I intend to do. So I hope that you're out there and you're listening. You're saying, Dr. Serrano, I hear what you're saying, but you know, I've been given, a diagnosis. Guess what? That's exactly what you were given, a diagnosis. It does not have to be the end of your story. It wasn't mine, and it doesn't have to be yours. So I want to leave you with a short poem. It says, we live in a world full of love, hate, and pain. What do we do when out comes the rain? We search and we pass through the walls and the gates. We look for the love to overcome the hate. No pain, no gain is what they say. But when the sun comes out, you know you've made it till another day. We live in a world, yes, we do. But the world doesn't have to live in us, not me or you. And I want you to know, you do not have to allow any diagnosis to be the end of your story. You can rise up because guess what? When miracles and time collide, destiny is true to come forth. So my quote for you is when time meets destiny, guess what? Miracles happen. Are you waiting on your miracle? Receive it today. It's right here for you and you and you. I am super thankful and grateful to Dr. Jody Bear for being a part of this amazing book. Thank you, my darling. I know that it's going to change lives because it's already changed my life.
Yes, it has. And as we're waiting for Kimberly Meredith to come on to wind up this Wow Wednesday, I will just say I'd like to just have a quick conversation with my sister, if I may. Dr. Nefertina, let's just do that.
Absolutely.
I'm sure you got another appointment, but let's just do that deal because when you speak, miracles happen. When you
Thank
speak,
you.
miracles happen. I want to just going back to that time when we had a little thing or two about a thing or two, and you said, I just know what and you felt it in your spirit. You being a minister, you felt it in your spirit what this book was going to do because we hit a challenge in June, and you said, I'm just going to get on and you got on our mastermind, and that was one that I'll keep in my vault forever. What were you feeling? What did the Holy Spirit just tell you about this? Because I feel like this is something we need to share on this summit. I'm serious.
Yeah, no, absolutely. In thinking that we were going through so many tribulations, I would say it was a real tribulation, and just trying to get this project moving and grooving. And there was all kinds of adversities that just continued to come. But you know what, Dr. Jody, in the perseverance, in the not letting go, in the understanding that this is so much bigger than us,
Yes.
so much greater. This is transcending beyond Healthopedia and every one of the 40 plus authors and contributors that is participant in this book. We are going to look forward into our future and see how this book was planted for such a time as this. And so I am grateful and super excited because I know there's a future in Healthopedia, and it's going to go beyond our imaginations.
You said global, beyond our imagination. And when you said this, it just made sense because another one of our authors said the same thing during this time. And why am I sharing this? Because tomorrow on Clubhouse in the XP Mentor Room, we're going to do a room with Martin Pratt of Unidial Media. And it's going to say, so you decided to publish a book. You keep that mindset, which is your skill set, that I will publish. I will until. That's that resiliency. It's that resolve that you keep. I will until. That is with marriages. That's with going through your grief with your wonderful brother, who you said was like a son. It's like with your weight loss journey, that is that transformation as it's coming down. You will until, and we all get there. And when you said, what, you need to go with me in Dubai in April. My husband, who since COVID, being the world traveler that he is, being a world-renowned archaeologist, after COVID said, I'm done with my international travel. Do you know what he said after that conversation, Dr. Nefertiti? He goes, let's go.
Let's go.
It's an international movement. It's more than me. It's more than you. It's more than the 40 authors out there. It is everyone. I am absolutely so grateful that Kim Jacobs said, I have this one woman. You are a miracle in my life. You are a miracle in my life. And this is my last Dr. Bernie bit for you. He said, how do I live my life? I just try to live my sermon. And so, Reverend Minister, that's what you do. Much love. You can't wait until we launch our book on Tuesday. See you there. Ciao, ciao.
Absolutely. Bye.
This is where you scan it now. You go get the scan code. What do? You're going to scan in that code. You're going to then be alerted. We launch on the 26th of this month, 26th of September. Remember that proceeds of this book, a portion of the proceeds go to two charities, Maui First through Bumbikanalehe of Hawaii First. It goes, I don't know what happened to that. Bye-bye for now. We're going to do it again. Technical issues, StreamYard, not why. Our frequency must be above the gratitude section. We need to bump up the frequency on StreamYard. I believe that's what makes all the sense in the world. But let me tell you something. We have these two charities. Do not forget, we have the charity of Hawaii First and what's happened and how it's just been absolutely a devastating time that I've never seen in my life. I put it right up there with 9/11. Then we've got Gabe's Heart Foundation. Dr. Nefertiti knows Kim Jacobs well. So do I. Let's be a part of this, what is a ministry of life for children, so that no child should suffer and have their heart just quit beating. So let's keep Gabe's heart beating. Not only when you purchase the book on Tuesday, portions go to these two foundations through October, but notice this ticker that the production team put on the back here on the bottom. You, my wonderful contributors, sponsors, and patrons of Life's Milkshake Moments, Mindset Monday, and Dr. Talk, my 3 shows on Traverse TV. And those of you that are a part of the Healthopedia channel, rather than having diverted to those expenses, they're going to go directly to these two charities for the month of September and the month of October. So that's what we have. And I'd like to do, as we're waiting for Kim, I would love to, Kimberly Meredith, to be our end note speaker. What an amazing soul to bring together our gratitude time. I would like to thank my sponsors, and let's run through, team, in the following order. Let's go ahead and hear from Gravity Ball, and then let's hear from Roper's Health Oasis and Dr. Jim Marinakis of PPI, Personal Performance Institute. Those 3, which are author, speaker, and sponsors. Let's take a look. Let's take a listen.
Shannon Roper, board-certified family nurse practitioner, CEO, and founder of Roper's Health Oasis, located in beautiful Carlsbad, New Mexico. Shannon took her vision of true holistic healthcare to promote wellness instead of illness and show you how you can live between office visits, as Dr. Bernie Siegel says. She has your best interest as a priority and incorporates the 6 pillars of health into each day. Join Shannon along with the other 39 authors as she elevates Healthopedia and creates a real health oasis for you and your life.
The main reason I believe people's health is declining globally is because they don't do the things every day that they need to maintain themselves. They don't walk enough. They don't get enough nutrients. They accumulate way too much stress. They don't expose themselves to nature. They work under artificial lights that damage the rods and cones of their eye, their brain, disturb functions of their liver. Everybody wants to be free from disease, and they want to enjoy a long and happy life. At the Personal Performance Institute, we teach you how to do exactly that. It starts right in the beginning. The very first things you'll do, which are simple instructions, will improve your health, and they will make you feel better about yourself. Not believe that you feel better about yourself, but actually feel better about yourself. That's what the Personal Performance Institute can do for you.
Those 3 sponsors, Dr. Mark Chavez, author who you'll hear from tomorrow, was the creator of the Gravity Ball, Health MD, board certified emergency medicine MD. The Gravity Ball is one that, as I've been pulling up many times, that I do and nearly do every single day, 10 minutes with it. It is resistance free and injury free weight building and weight training. Shannon Roper of Roper's Health Oasis. You heard from Shannon yesterday. She truly, as a nurse practitioner, down as far down south in New Mexico, as close to the Texas border as you can be. And frankly, to me, she's down in the desert, but her health practitioner philosophy is an oasis. And then Dr. James Marinakis, you'll hear from him tomorrow. See, my nose started itching. Just intuitively, that's what happens to me when I just intuitively am aligned with his gratitude message. World-renowned. He needed his own line for his degrees in our book and our author cover page. As he said, people have been asking him to write for 50 years. And now he's an author. I'm so grateful. Then you have, he said, I've been wanting to go ahead and get these seminars kicked off. He will be the facilitator in Boca Raton, Florida in February. You can get your deeply discounted ticket now for $13.95, and that includes all meals and your VIP experience. Let me tell you, that's a bargain, but it's even more of a bargain to know that what he charges for a personal consultation, what he charges for, because he trains trainers all over the world, what he does with his practices when it comes to really integrating healing and wholeness. So those are our author speakers. I'm a proud sponsor, and let's give another round of applause one more time, and let's take a look. Let's take a listen, and you will hear from Daniel Jew tomorrow, Arthur's younger brother, about Buddy, proactive aging, and Live Freely.
Aging seniors face a variety of challenges when it comes to their health and well-being. Now, there's a way to take control of aging. Meet Buddy, your personal health assistant. Buddy is a cutting-edge digital health solution that empowers seniors and their caregivers to be proactive in aging. The platform works on smartwatches worn by the senior and paired to their phone. Buddy automatically detects, predicts, and prevents falls. If a fall is detected, your loved one's watch will vibrate and display fall detected, I'm okay, or help me. At the same time, an alert is sent to the caregiver and a 5-minute countdown begins. If the alert is not addressed within the 5 minutes, Buddy will automatically connect to 911. Many times, a loved one is prescribed a walker or cane when they become a fall risk. Through Bluetooth and gamification, Buddy encourages the use of assistive walking devices by providing points that can be converted to gift cards. Buddy also reminds your loved ones to take their medications on time. One of its most innovative features, Buddy uses all the data it collects to create a personalized baseline and measures deviations to alert of potential health issues. Gain greater connectedness, peace of mind, independence, and security through Buddy, your personal health assistant. To learn more, visit www.buddylife.com.
There's another buddy in the room, a personal assistant, and it is absolutely the one and only Kimberly Meredith. She truly, truly is an extraordinary woman. Yes, I have her book too. Here it is. Here it is. Here it is. Why is that important? It is truly a manual. And I am so honored that we figured out a way, because this is an epitome. We had conversations in malls and jogging and getting on airplanes and going to seminars, you name it. You see, winners win on the muddiest of fields and losers lose with the best intentions. We won with this. Kimberly, I'm so grateful and honored to bring you to the stage to be our EndNote speaker. But for those of you that don't know, medical intuitive healer Kimberly Meredith, she has abilities that are untold. It's truly, truly a gift to know you, Kimberly, and you will feel the same way after you hear her. She has been tested and famed in the INS, which is the Institute of Noetic Scientists. And so she is well known in the field as a medical intuitive. The rest is history. Awakening to the fifth dimension, whether you like it or not, just like it, embrace it, because that's where we are experiencing life right now. So it was with absolutely immense honor and privilege to say, I am so delighted, Kimberly Meredith, that you are an author in the spiritual pillar of Healthopedia. What an amazing, amazing thing to have you in this book. It's life-changing for me. It'll be life-changing for all who read it. Welcome.
Thank you, Dr. Jody Bear. Thanks for having me here. I'm really super excited about being in this beautiful book with all these amazing authors and speakers. And this is just super exciting time, and just grateful.
Yes, and that fits because our word for today has been gratitude. So you already knew that, being an intuitive. So I would love for you to share, and as you're going on the 26th and you're buying of the book, we can put up there health-a-pedia.com. You can go ahead and get the book. That's where you will get a note. You can get it right then and there, and it will take you to Amazon. But while you're there, buy two. Get this one as well. This one I had to find. I knew it was in our rental home. My husband had hidden it. It was under his books in the bedroom. I said, the last time I read it, it was in the dining room. It had moved. That's the kind of book your book is. It moves because you move people. So I would love to have you just end this beautiful day with the best 15 minutes as only Kimberly can do to awaken our highest consciousness. The next 15 minutes is yours, my dear.
Thank you. Well, I feel like my part of this is basically just understanding that we have to spend most of our days with ourselves, and understanding that our mind is an important part of our whole system. And we want it to be in a higher consciousness. And the best consciousness is the God consciousness and our heart consciousness. And we want to move out of our monkey mind and get into the heart and into the divine light and being positive and being around the people that are our soul tribe. And in the heart consciousness is the positive consciousness and being of courage. And when I had my 2 near-death experiences, I had to embrace my guides, my angels, spirit, and be who I was really meant to be. Because I was born with paranormal abilities, but and when I had my near-death experiences, I had to face who I really was, which is this God fearing medical medium being medium. And so we all have those special abilities. We all are someone here in this world that needs to move the world forward right now and be this really important individual, because we have only a few years right now to do this and spread this higher consciousness courage. And in that courage, the thoughts that we have are the most important thing. Thoughts, affirmations are the gratitude and love, and the love and gratitude that we have for ourselves ripples out towards other people and move us into this 5th dimension. The 5th dimension is just one dimension that's going to bring us into the highest dimension. There's many dimensions, but we only have to 2033 to make this happen. So as we raise the dimensional frequency in our body, we raise the dimensional frequency in the world, and we move out of the 3 dimension, the fear and the worry and the anxiety, and it squashes and it leaves. So as we read the new book that's coming out, Pedia, as we read The Awakening, as we read any book, we grasp that energy in our mind, we grasp it into our heart, we affirm the energy, and we have the courage to speak happiness. We speak the paradise that we want, and we swallow it. We envelop it into our heart, and we raise our consciousness, not only in our food, our vitamins, our supplements, but in the awakening in our mind. When we awaken our mind, we divinely heal ourselves and we heal the world. And as we heal ourselves and the world, we shift. And when we shift, we awaken. And as we awaken through books and audio and everything that we're doing, all of a sudden, we begin to see that we're connecting to our guides, our angels, our ancestors. And then it happens. We feel it. It begins. Healing is easy. Getting in touch with who we really are happens faster. So not only are we healed through our vitamins and our supplements and our conscious speaking, but everything becomes so connected that we have the most intimate relationship with not only yourself and your brothers and sisters, but the energy of the omnipresent. So everybody that's been here today is one and connected. And in that oneness, it becomes so beautiful and so amazing that the words don't even have to be a word. It's an energy. And the energy is love. And love heals. And love is beautiful. And that is spirit. And the divine spirit heals. And the divine spirit is us. And because all of us are together and all of us made this book happen with Dr. Jody Bear making this happen, there's no way that any of this cannot be the most beautiful work in the world. So the guides are saying to me that this was supposed to happen, is happening, and is going to keep happening. But as they say to me, that 2033, in 10 years, life is happening so fast right now the healing has to be like that, because consciousness has to be like that, because the guides want this book to get out like that, so consciousness can raise like that, because that's what's important, that the consciousness is raised and the healing is done like that. Thank you for letting me speak.
Like that. I love that. I love that. Now, there are no coincidences. You already know this. But when you said this book, Healthopedia, Kimberly, the hair on my head just stood up on the top of my head, and I felt it all the way through. No wonder we had internet issues today. No wonder we had that happening, because this is my Bernie bit for you. For those of you that are hearing Kimberly's words, and for all she does and who she touches, keep, as Dr. Bernie Siegel says, keep your mind open. Then something miraculous will happen. This is it. We've got I hope if you've got 2 more minutes, this energy, this perfect balance, out of the 40 authors, we're 60-40 men, women. That in and of itself is pretty miraculous, because that's about 60-40 men and women in the world, correct?
Yes.
Yes. Yes. I am so honored. I've got to say it one more time. This is a friend of a friend. Had it not been for Dan Gilman, there are many pieces of the puzzle, Dan. Let's give you honor. Introducing me to Dr. Bernie Siegel, and we go ahead and do this. And then there's the book, introducing me to Kimberly, conversations that we have had, which have been too few, but the ones that we have been just more than rich, because they have been in that 5th dimension. When we meet in Boca, magic will happen. Even Boca being the center of this epicenter of healing will never be the same. I absolutely honor you for the work that you do. And you epitomize my quote, when you take care of you and your world first, the world around you is empowered forever. Thank you, Kimberly, for closing us out. Thank you for squeezing this time in with all of these 40 speakers in 3 days with your client base, because guess what? It was just like that.
Thank you.
Ciao for now. So as we wind up, let's hear from one more of our sponsors. We want to hear once again from Healthopedia, and then we'll close out today. So let's talk about Healthopedia. What do we have? What did Kimberly just say? It's more than a book. You're going to get the book. You're also going to get the Scan Me. Where are you going to find Healthopedia? On Instagram. Go follow us, Healthopedia 365. We will be featuring all 40 authors starting in 2 weeks. We are starting the second week in October, the second week in October. What are we doing? We are featuring one author per week, and we're starting with the spiritual pillar. Healthopedia, spiritual, physical, mental, emotional, social, and financial. Then we're going to be going together, the 150 strong. This is what Kimberly is saying, what's happening by 2023. Healing just like that. 150 of these epiphany-driven, heart-passioned participants. Jim Marinakis, Kimberly Meredith, not even using the titles, Jody Bear, because we'll all know how to be doctors of our own bodies, our own worlds, and our own social sections, so we can go ahead and know how to live between office visits. So with this end, I want to just pay honor to all of our speakers after we watch Healthopedia. One more again.
While being mentored and studying with the iconic pioneer in natural healer, Dr. Hulda Clark, and experiencing her life-changing practices and protocols, a goal card was written and dated in 1984 stated, "I will write the Eastern medical version of the PDR, Physician's Desk Reference. The universe delivered a sign to actualize this goal. Now, in 2023, we are experiencing vision and mission into fruition. Healthopedia has arrived, led by the iconic 20th and 21st century icon, Dr. Bernie Siegel, MD, author of Love, Medicine, and Miracles, along with 42 extraordinary healing world changers that will motivate, educate, inspire, and propel you along your own path to wholeness, wellness, and abundance. Every compelling story will uplift you to your own epiphany of health isn't something you do, it's what you become along life's journey.
I want to honor our authors and our author speakers for today. As Kimberly Meredith talked about the number 1, we had 10 speakers. In numerology, the number 1 is often associated with what? Beginnings, leadership, independence, individuality. It's a new creation with that prime number. It was the number 1, the creation and innovation. We have had this presence of confidence and confidence in gratitude. As I said, when you take care of you and your world first, the world around you is empowered forever. That's where you will take care of you first, beginning with our book. As Sue Kostick said, this is the beginning of you being able to do self-care the right way. Can you imagine taking one set of principles a week for the next 40 weeks through this? That's how it's going to work. You'll find what fits, like what shoe size and what shoe style fits. And what I'll tell you, as I was speaking about our book, the number of the pages is 468. You put that together in numerology. What do you have? You have the number 8. This is associated, the number 8, with success. Don't we all need that? Abundance. It's manifestation and material achievement, just like that. People, and we're going to resonate this number. We are ambition and have a strong sense of motivation. Have you felt motivated today? Have you felt motivated by our amazing speakers? I just want to give one more curtain call to what we heard and who we heard from in our gratitude day. Rex Sikes, aren't we going to take our gratitude, our 25 fine things for the day? He is the gratitude activator, and he lives his sermon in his book, Life on Your Terms. Kim Jacobs, just juggling everything. Something that life on her with a personal situation, but she still made it happen. Hope and gratitude, and know that Gabe's Heart Foundation is going to be an amazing, amazing event. Arthur Jew, taking what could have just been tragedy and sitting back with the loss of both of his parents very suddenly, and his dad with his stroke, he was able to give proactivity and change the face of aging. Sue Kostick, integrated health practitioner, but lives symmetry and health. And remember, it's all figure outable. Cynthia Hamel-Knipe, I just want to give one more round of applause, a virtual applause to Cynthia and Rob. They could have given up with the technology that was happening between their interfaces. Who knew? But we knew that we needed to hear from them. Cynthia giving this music, being a healer. Aren't we all going to be singing on the way home tonight and having a happy moment of gratitude? Remember, music and gratitude are at the same frequency level as we go home and sit in rush hour. And Rob Baird, you do epitomize your nickname. You give gifts just like Santa. Dr. Nefertina, every time you hear me speak, it moves from my toenails to my head to my soul. It moves throughout my body because you have come into my life, because this time has met destiny and we're creating a miracle. And Kimberly, you already know, that we are going to do the balance of feminine and masculine energy just like that into the world, because we need it. If not now, when? If not you, who? Who's going to take that step for Healthopedia? Who's going to take that one step? As Sue says, And her website, Sue Kostick. Your next step in health can be your next meal. And it's that easy. It's that simplistic. Just make that next right step for you because you deserve it. You are worth it. You are worth it without a doubt. This is an absolute feeling of gratitude. It's a feeling of gratitude from the standpoint that if we feel that gratitude and that frequency, it all takes care of itself. I will tell you there's a couple of things on our agenda, and one tomorrow is in Clubhouse. If you have that app, that auditory app, be in the XP Mentor room. We're going to be talking about all things health. We're going to be talking about health. And so you want to write a book, you want to get published, and you'll hear the backstory of Healthopedia. I will also be on Traverse TV at 6 p.m. and we'll be going on YouTube as well at 5 p.m., Twitter at 4, and that will be with TMZ's 10G Collins. We'll be going on that live. And then we are going to be going live on our book launch day at 1 p.m. with 10G and Martin Pratt of Unidial Media, who was the glue for us to then we know we will be getting at that point to international bestsellers. So put those dates, follow us, make sure that you follow my YouTube channel as it's getting renovated, but there's so much more in store. Why? Because that's who we are. That's what we do. And what do? We absolutely create gratitude. And what is gratitude? I was thinking about this during my morning walk. I was thinking about what can I leave? And those of you that know me know I love acrostics. So I'm bringing this up on my phone so I get it precisely correct. What is gratitude? An acrostic. And it is grow, interrelationship with action. Gratitude is action, isn't it? We've seen a lot of action, especially backstage today, for sure, towards inspiring together for unity in daily endeavors. I repeat that again. What is gratitude? It's growing in relationship with action towards inspiring together for unity in daily endeavors. May all your endeavors be health related. May all your endeavors be ones of gratitude. You have the emotion of hope, which is the biggest emotion that we hold on to no matter what. Living in those daily endeavors of gratitude keeps your frequency right and there. And guess what? On Friday, when we come back to finish it up with our absolute 14 fabulous authors, keynoting with Manny Lopez of the Network of Influence and endnoting with a CEO and founder of MYB Publishing, our publisher, my coach and my mentor and trainer, Jay Noland. We will finish up with our fabulous 14. And we know that you will be back here Friday at noon Eastern until 6:30 p.m. Eastern. It will be 6.5 hours of absolutely ripping. What is the word? You thought it was going to hold out. Now I'm going to tell you what it is. The word is love. Love is the most amazing emotion. In fact, it's the biggest and largest emotion in the universe. Dr. Bernie Siegel says it this way. When you give your love away, make sure you give it away. Why? Because you can't take it with you. So I give you my love. Now you give it away. And I'm going to say until Friday, this is Dr. J saying, have a Healthopedia day. Ciao for now.